We deserve, though.
Blue is hung like a grape. It prunes when it hits the water.
But I did catch that one. What's good, everybody? It's game
Here's
talk.
Brim's just jealous and is just objectively wrong by every metric of his life. And he's also drinking canned beer, so that kind of says,
It's game talk.
Sorry, shots fired.
You know, that was a low blow because everybody knows I hate this shit.
Well,
but it's beer. I can't waste beer.
Stop drinking canned beer, and then I'll maybe make fun of you less.
How's everybody
maybe
doing
actually
tonight?
Get a relationship, and we'll stop making fun of you less.
What do you mean? I've been in a relationship before. I've been in a couple.
Your body pillow with Miku Miyazaki.
Listen, my body pillow and right hand count. My body pillow and right hand do count, so be quiet, Brimstone.
Oh yeah, by the way, we're doing good, Pete. How are you?
I'm doing all right. It's everybody's favorite host, Gangster, here with my boy, Brimstone.
What's going on, fellers?
Blue.
Sup, bitches?
And Mocking Jace, newcomer today.
Is that me?
That's you.
Okay.
Say hey to everybody.
Hi.
Yeah.
Or hey.
Hi.
He's the guy with the beard, and then there's the guy called Brimstone who can't grow a beard. Got him.
It's not actually a beard, it's just a bird nest that attached to my face, and it'd be too heartless to get rid of the little chicks.
Mine is like this weird, like, they started to build a nest, and then they abandoned it because they just realized it wasn't going to work.
My beard looks at your beard and is screaming out, "Get in my belly."
Is this making fun of Brimstone Hour? Because I'm down for that. I'm sorry, Brim.
But I can always bounce back with your stuff.
Listen, my weeboo-ness is not something you can roast about.
Of course we can. That's what we do. I mean,
right.
How many of these episodes are literally bashing on you?
A lot, but still.
But anyways, today's docket, we have stuff about Blizzard we're going to talk about, and any other things that you guys are going to talk about, because we didn't really talk about what you guys wanted to talk about during the pre-thing.
Well, I know the first thing I want to talk about. Emma Sokowitz, Mattress Girl.
Oh, I gotta pee real quick. Be back in a second. Continue, though.
This motherfucker.
Sorry.
So for anybody who doesn't remember, Emma Sokowitz at what was the?
That was the chick that like hired a college grad to like bang her, and like go down on her, and she pretended like she didn't like it, and then told the guy on camera to slap her in the face before he left.
Yeah.
So
okay. So
it would look like that she got raped.
So to start at the beginning, Emma Sokowitz. Columbia University, that's what I was looking for, claimed that she was raped, which was later found out to be quite a load of nonsense. And like you said, she basically made a porno with some guy that she hired. I can't remember the name of the guy.
Yeah.
To exactly what she said, to what was it? What was the word how she described it? To stage her rape, because that's what a rape victim does, is make a porno that shows exactly what happened during the alleged incident. Whatever. And for her senior thesis, carried a mattress around on her back for the entire school year as a quote-unquote performance piece to show how she carried that weight through her entire life or something like that. Won all sorts of awards. Got a whole bunch of...
Yeah, she got all sorts of accolades for it.
Yep, and interviews and all sorts of shit. Well, apparently she started dating a conservative guy, and now she's started to read Jordan Peterson and has softened her stance on conservatives in general.
She got red-pilled?
You could say that she got dicked down so hard, it turned her into a conservative. Kind
Oh,
of,
that's funny.
kind of akin to Lacey Green. She got greened. I think that's going to be the new adjective.
That's pretty fucking good.
Oh my god, dude! When I read it, I was dying, bro. I was absolutely dying.
That's pretty fucking awesome.
But
Oh,
yeah, that's just a little quickie, if you might.
that's pretty fucking good, dude. So she got banged, fell in love with a dude that's a conservative, and now she kind of understands where we're all coming from now. Why does it always have to come to that? Why? So what? These girls that are like crazy, like regressive left, have to get banged a few times to fucking. Hey, look, common sense just all of a sudden popped into their heads. Like, I don't get it. Why does it have to go to that?
I mean, I have a feeling that most of these weenie male feminists might be a little less male feministy if they just got some vag.
I mean, it might be. It might be, honestly. Like, it seems to be that way for the chicks, at least. They're finding a dude that they like and find him attractive enough. They, have fun and, they talk to the person. They educate themselves. And now look at them. They're red-pilled. Lacey Green, it's happened with that. What was that one chick's name that was designing the program that Zoe Quinn was going after? Is now like the leading conservative for
Oh, the
Trump's,
black one.
Yeah.
Shit.
Something Pill Black or whatever.
Yeah, her YouTube name is Red Pill Black.
Red Pill Black, yeah.
Damn,
She's
I'm trying to find.
Dude, she's like the leading fucking conservative party leader now, dude.
I'm gonna have to
All
look that
because
up
she
because
got
that's
dicked
gonna
down. Like, what the hell?
bug the shit out of me. Red Pill Black.
It's amazing what a little bit of dick could do to some people, you know?
Candace Owens.
Candace, there we go.
Yep.
Because she was a hardcore regressive left for the longest time. And now she's a part of that group of, hey, I got a penis. I have common sense now.
Well, I think a lot of hers was was also her getting a call from Zoe Quinn.
Yeah, it was Zoe Quinn and all of her supporters that were like fucking with her.
Yeah, telling her, hey, quit talking about this shit. You're ruining everything. That was some shit. So what have you guys been up to lately?
Work, vacation. We just got out of Vegas earlier this week for Val's birthday. That was fun. I just newly got back into Gundam, as you already know. Like, I've been hardcore into it, like, really, really deeply. So that's cool.
Cool. Jace, what about you?
Destiny. That's all I've been doing.
You and Blue,
Same
man.
as well.
I know. Just
Lots
nothing
and
but
lots of
fucking Destiny.
Yeah.
Because we're what we call true epic gamers, and you're just a basic bitch with Call of Duty. Got him.
Yeah, you're just jealous you don't have Call of Duty.
I'm so jealous of Call of Duty. I'm so jealous of Call of Duty. I can buy it right now, but don't choose
you were
to.
just e-begging for one of us to buy it for you.
I know, because here's the thing.
E-begging.
Listen.
E-begging.
No, but here's the thing. I personally don't really want to buy it, but I'll beg others to do it for me, if that makes sense.
Right.
I don't. I've had people offer to buy it for me, and I.
Oh, send those people my way, by the way.
You didn't
Send them
take
my
a
way.
free game, sir? What is wrong
No.
with you?
No, because fuck Activision. That's why.
See, okay, no. I might have an argument that would change your mind, sir. Right? So, oh, please don't tell me.
What?
Okay,
Yeah,
good.
you should fuck up again.
Yeah, it looked like it fucking froze hard there for a second. So this Call of Duty, they've actually listened, and it is, well, it's definitely the best Call of Duty that's been put out for a long, long time.
Is the exclusivity for a year gone away?
What do you mean?
For the
He's talking about
survival,
the
the whole
survival
part of
mode.
the game. Has that gone away? Have they recanted that?
No, that's still there.
Yeah, then I'm not buying it. because that's absolutely a disgusting move of Activision.
It's one game mode, but
Yeah, it's
I
one
just-
game mode, but it's a little bit, it's the whole you give them an inch, they take a mile sort of thing. They do it because people let them do it. And I'm done with Activision. I'm not buying their
I
stuff.
definitely can agree with that though. Like,
It's nothing against Infinity Ward. Like I was actually coming around on it when I was playing the beta for it, and I was like, oh, this is actually a decent Call of Duty. Like their developer has done an awesome job with this, and I was thinking about getting to buy it because I've been kind of burned out on Call of Duty the last couple years. And then they came out with that move, and no, I'm not feeding into that crap from Activision.
well, here's the thing, right? And it is what it is, and either way, it's not a slight on you or anything like that. But as they have reworked the game to improve just about everything that players ask them to, like all of the bullshit is back to what people were asking for, as far as gameplay wise goes.
No, and it's not that I have no issue with the gameplay wise. And I know my one person not buying it isn't going to make a difference in Activision. I just wouldn't feel comfortable with myself buying something that is so grossly anti-consumer.
Well, I don't know about grossly. It's anti-consumer for sure, but it's definitely not the worst offender.
Oh, I think it's horrible. It disgusts me. It really does.
One game mode? Like,
Yeah,
of all the other
it
things
does.
that other companies are
because
pulling?
It would be one thing if it was okay, a month or whatever, like they've done in the past with previous Call of Duties, but it is a whole year that you're taking 2/3 of the player base, not allowed to touch that whole mode, regardless of how good the mode is or not. You're paying the same price for 60% of the same game. I think it's incredibly anti-consumer. I don't like it, and it doesn't sit well with me. Other people want to buy it, that's fine, but I'm not going to end up buying it.
I mean, I could definitely understand that because, for example, in Destiny, when Destiny was still with, or when Bungie was still with Activision, they had content like strikes and weapons locked away for an entire year, and they were definitely testing that with Bungie.
Yeah,
and
and that's part of part of that is coming from Destiny. Like, I've already had this experience for the last 5 years now, of being locked out of stuff constantly for a year, if not longer in some cases. But Call of Duty, it's especially bad because it is an annual release game. So why a whole another game comes out in another year? It's a ridiculous window for any sort of exclusivity. But I hate exclusivity in general.
Oh,
well,
see, and there's my thing. Like, for me, one game mode, that's bad, but it's not 1 year exclusivity on Epic Store only.
I mean, both those things are bad. That's the problem.
Well,
both those things are bad.
In my mind, one of them is way, way worse than the other.
I could definitely agree to that, but it's just like with this whole game mode exclusivity, it always starts with one mode. Like, what if it starts with weapons, content, for example? Like, oh, you can't get, I don't know, let's say the FLAMAS for an entire year on any other platform but PlayStation. Or it's gonna be like, oh, it's just one gun, lol. I know it's content's on your hard drive, we can't use it because exclusivity, lol. Is that gonna happen, or
the thing is, when they realize they can get away with something like this,
well, that's the thing. They've already been getting away with it.
Oh, I know they have.
So it's, and this is my thing. It's the lesser of a bunch of evils. But to my way of thinking, I'll use the example of Battlefield 5. Right, Battlefield 5 just released their War in the Pacific mode, and it was everything that Battlefield fans were asking for. If that game had launched with the War in the Pacific as the launch game with the trailer that they launched, it would have been the best-selling game this year. It was pure Battlefield porn, right? And there's a whole bunch of people on the trailer in the comments and stuff like that saying, "Well, they already fucked it up. I'm never gonna buy it." And here's the thing about that, right? I mean, that's your choice, and more power to you. But if a game, or if a developer does what you ask, and then you still refuse to patronize them, then they have no incentive to keep doing what you. I mean, you at that point you are basically the SJWs who demand things out of games and were never going to buy the game in the first place.
That's different. That's features that are added over time, and like I totally applaud DICE and other developers for going and doing stuff like that, listening to their community, adding content like that. Like Rainbow Six is a perfect example of that. That game was a shell of a game when it launched, and they kept at it and adding things over and over, and they listened to their player base and it got better. This isn't about my issue with it isn't about the features that they've added in Call of Duty or anything like that. It's about Activision just being greedy, flat out, is what it is. I have no issue with the developer of Infinity Ward.
Well, but that's the thing. By punishing Activision, you're also punishing Infinity Ward. And that's my see. And this is the me and Rambo got into this about a couple things, but it's the gray area, the catch-22, the principles and why they always have to be broken. And I use the example of The Witcher 3. The Witcher 3 is a great game, and absolutely fantastic in just about every way. I mean, pretty much everybody has the same opinion that it's just a great game all around. But The Witcher 3 follows the practice that they accepted NVIDIA's money and included GameWorks, which is a shady as fuck code set of graphical, whatever you want to call it, where it intentionally gimps not only AMD products, but also it's been shown that it intentionally gimps their own older hardware as well, trying to get you to buy their newest stuff, which to me is like, exclusivity is bad enough. That shit is straight up disgusting ass shit. And it's what I think is the most damaging thing to, gaming in general, but especially PC gaming, because it doesn't happen on console this way, because it's not, there's no gimping of PlayStation versus Xbox or anything like that. They just have regular exclusivity, which is horrible too. But so if I refuse to buy Witcher 3 because they follow in this practice, while I'm also punishing refusing support, whatever you want to call it, of a fantastic game that I want more to be made of. And it's, which one is the right one? You know what I mean? Like,
it comes down. I was already riding the fence on Call of Duty anyways, though. Like I said, I was thinking about actually picking it up during the beta. I was already on the fence on it. I've been Call of Duty for a long time, and then this just kind of sealed it for me. I was like, no, I don't need it.
Yeah, because when we played it together, you seemed all right. Like, you seemed pretty all right about it. And then all of a sudden, when they did that shit with Sony, you were like, okay, nope. Damn.
I can see where both parties are coming from here, but it's just, I don't know, to me, that exclusivity, that mode, where does it go from there? Like, if I do get...
Well, that's the thing. It's already gone. We've already got exclusive third-party games in PC gaming. So in my mind, they're not doing third-party exclusives. So that's at least the most evil of the exclusives not happening. And I want more games like Modern Warfare being released, so I have to support games that like Modern Warfare that launch as often as I can, as long as I can stomach
I think
it.
I think entire titles being exclusive, while I don't like it, I think that's less disgusting than taking a game that's available for everything and dividing it up among its player base. Well, you can have this, but you can't have this. But we're going to charge you all the same. I think that's that's much more viable.
That is
than
dirty.
saying-
That is dirty.
Than
yeah.
saying, well, this game's only going to be on PlayStation or this game's only going to be on Xbox.
See, I think, well, no, even like
Because those
only on
titles are made
PlayStation
for
or
the
only on
dedicated fanboys of those consoles. Whereas
only
I'm
on
not paying
oh.
anything to like I don't have a PS4 myself, but like I could go out there and get a PS4 if I wanted to play some of their Uncharted, whatever, Spider-Man, but with something like Call of Duty where it's same game content that's available on these all platforms, but then that's divided up. So if I want the full game, I now have to own a PS4. I have to buy a PS4 to be able to play the same game, have all the same content for something I would have paid the same price for anyways. I just don't like that. I don't like the dividing up of content. I think that's gross.
I mean, it's really scummy. And I definitely could see an argument there for like content that like a game that everyone has access to and has exclusive content locked away to certain platforms is worse than something that's only on one platform anyways. Like that's bad, but it's just like,
well, that's the thing.
It's
Only on one platform is one thing. Like I hate console exclusives, but console exclusives are one thing. But third-party exclusives on PC, that's another thing entirely. Like that to me is the greatest evil. It's never been done. Never on PC before until Epic. And
I mean, don't support it. That's what I do.
And I know I'm going to make a lot of people mad, but Epic doesn't cost me anything to install.
no, I see. And I hate it when people. I'm not saying you are, by the way, Jace, but I hate it when people the standard thing when you say I'm not, I don't want to install Epic. It's what? It's a free installer, man. You just don't want to install another installer. No, that has nothing to do with it. I can't stand Epic's business practices. Like, God, there is a huge list, a ginormous list, the least of which include Tencent owning a giant portion of their stock, and the ludicrous, I don't care what anybody says, they're spying, if whatever you want to call it, data mining is far worse than Valve's or anybody else's as far as I know. I've not seen anybody's that's as bad as theirs. Their features are fucking. I mean, they are not even as good as Steam was when it first launched, and they are intentionally withholding features that are there for the gamers, like reviews and refunds and shit like that. I mean, and on and on.
Cards not there, by the way.
Sure, and on and on and on and on. Like there's like 2 or 3 dozen different things that are super scummy on the part of Epic that the only reason they're getting away with is because they're using their cash to buy third-party exclusives to their platform. And I can't support that. Like that, you want to talk about scummy, evil practices, like I cannot support that.
Okay, but that seems like all the same reasons, more or less, why I'm not liking Activision. You get what I'm saying?
I see that it's the same reasons. Like I said,
I can't support them. Yeah.
My thing is that one game mode just isn't. It's not nearly the same as all the things that Epic is doing and trying to force people to. Well, yeah. Hey, if it is to you, then it is to you.
Like I said, I'm not gonna. I know I'm not gonna change what they're doing. I don't expect to. I'm not trying to convince anybody else not to buy Modern Warfare.
But like. My thing is like Epic's not like I know you're using it as a comparable, Pete, but like if we were to be honest with ourselves here, like Epic isn't really having anything to do with the current monstrosity that is the Sony exclusive bullshit that they signed. You know what I mean?
Well, it's yes and no. I mean, it's all connected, but you're right. They're not directly related.
Well, that's why I said I know you're using it as a comparable, but like. Comparable to say the least, at the very least. I can see where both of you are coming from. Like I'm right there with Jace. I don't really care for the entirety of Spec Ops mode being fucking held back off of one platform for the sake of more money. That's the most dumbest shit I've ever heard. I would have rather this game just be a fucking PlayStation exclusive if that was the case. I played something else. You know what I mean? Like,
no, see,
well, but this is my point as well. Like, I paid $60, right? Pre-ordered this before this fucking announcement hit. I pre-ordered this game.
Yeah, the announcement was pretty. It was right before the game came out.
Yeah, that was real shitty.
So I'm sitting here thinking, you know, I didn't even know about this. In fact, I think Jason's the one that told me about it.
But if I remember correctly, wasn't survival mode not included in the original? Like, I thought they had added that after the fact, because I don't think it was.
Are you talking about original Modern Warfare?
No.
For this one,
the launch or the original announcements for this title. I don't think survival mode was included in
Spec Ops was.
Yeah.
Spec Ops was?
It was. Yeah. It was on an itemized list of what you were going to get with your pre-purchase, your pre-order.
Okay.
Multiplayer Spec Ops.
I thought
those are the three pillars of the Modern Warfare series. Like, are those three things? And I've had like friends come up to me and they're like, "Oh, well, you wouldn't play it anyways." I'm like, yeah.
Well, wait a second. I mean, you could say that Zombies has been a pillar of the Call of Duty
Black Ops.
Treyarch, Black Ops.
Still, I mean, it's been
Modern
there
Warfare
was
3, they've had Spec Ops. There's been no in the Modern Warfare series. There's been no zombies. They've had they had a horde mode in 3, but they had special missions in the ones before that.
It was still like a Spec Ops mode, though. It was still like Spec Ops, yeah.
Yeah, but the horde mode was basically zombies, and then they had zombies other than Black. I thought they had zombies in another.
It was just oncoming waves nonstop. In Modern Warfare 3, it was like you just set up mines and claymores and weapons and stuff like that, and earn kill streaks, and you just survive wave after wave. You need to hunker down in one spot.
You're thinking of. You're probably thinking of Extinction, by the way, Pete.
Yeah, that was good.
Man, it's so hard to do this shit while you're playing.
I mean, the thing is, I agree with both parties here. Like, I think it's really scummy, but at the same time, I do think app exclusivity is a bit worse. But it's just, I don't know, man. It's all just so difficult sometimes.
Well, that's why I said it's a big old gray area, and
I think it's not so much of a gray area for me.
To my mind, I want more games like Call of Duty being developed, which means that if I don't support them, then they're not gonna be. I mean, you know, obviously it doesn't reside on me, but
my thing is also, can we just stop getting, like, I know like there's that, but like when we talk about Battlefield and Call of Duty, like, can we just stop getting like games being terrible at launch, like, as a thing?
Well, that's a big ask.
Yeah, I mean, you know, that's not been a thing for a long time. That hasn't been a thing since PlayStation 1 and 2, so.
Not terrible at launch. And what I mean by terrible at launch, like functional. Like the game doesn't. I think there's like no cut content, or at least it's like functional at least. That's my priority. Because some games launch are not even functional half the time, and like you've seen those launches, like Battlefield 5.
Absolutely. Like I was saying, I want more games like Call of Duty to be developed, which means I have to, if the only thing I can personally do to help ensure that is to purchase them when they release. And I would rather, the two choices are the game doesn't get developed, the games don't get developed, or let's see, where do I want to put this?
I mean, I don't think like Activision or Infinity Ward or and nothing against Infinity Ward. I don't think like them even like, God forbid they ever went out of business. It's not like we'd never see a Call of Duty style game again.
Oh no,
plenty of other studios who'd pick that up. So I don't feel like me not supporting them or me being all in is gonna jeopardize that style of gaming.
Well, see, here's the thing though, like, it's not just the style, right? It's not only the style, it's also the like, because
the feel, I guess.
Well, it's like as other game studios, like it's the whole get woke go broke thing, right? even if one company, gets woke and goes broke, but they keep doing what gets them broke, right? Disney seems to just not get the message. They're going all in on Star Wars. They've got, I can't remember the other franchises and stuff that are like, Marvel. They're going all in with Captain Marvel and all this other stuff. So even if they don't get the message, other companies see what happens to them and makes business choices based on what they see. So if other companies see a game like Call of Duty get developed, come out, and it does everything that the real gamers, whatever you want to call it, the gamers like us asked for, but then fail, they're going to say they will say to themselves, well, these guys did everything that this group of people asked for, and nobody bought their game anyway. So why would I bother doing that? It's
Well, see, and
it's
this is
a
why
tough
it's a double-edged
situation.
sword of having a publishing house be in charge of your business decisions.
Yeah,
Well, but that's going to happen
regardless.
that's going to happen regardless. Even an indie
Not
studio.
necessarily, dude. No, dude. Like indie studios have not needed a publishing house
Yeah, publishers have
in over 2 decades.
dying.
Sure, but they'll
digital
still.
distribution. No, they're dying. I think you're gonna get it's publishers are gonna be replaced by investment firms.
No.
Is what's gonna happen.
All that could be true, not true. Whatever. Yes, no, it doesn't matter. Indie studios will still look at what happens to these other games and make business decisions based on what goes on.
Or they can look at what went wrong and see, like, oh, people didn't like the exclusivity. Maybe we won't do that.
Well, they could or they couldn't. That's the thing.
So, like, how would they think it failed? Oh, Call of Duty failed because it listened to the player base. Like, I don't think.
No,
these
not
stupid.
because Call of Duty failed in spite of them listening to the player base. That's the thing that I'm worried about. Just like with the Battlefield 5 thing. So Battlefield 5 listens to the fans and does everything they asked for, and yet if enough people still said nope, they lost my money and I'm never ever giving it to them, no matter what they do, no matter how much they comply with the complaints that I was making when the game launched, I'm never ever gonna buy it. The next studio that starts developing a game and a group of gamers like theirs says, well, we don't like this, and this aspect of it. Well, they might say to themselves, well, we're not going to listen to you. Battlefield 5
And who will they listen to?
EA Dice did exactly what you guys were asking for, and you still didn't buy their game. So why would we listen to you guys?
I don't
And who
think
are they
that's
listening
entirely
to?
true because there's that attitude that comes out with a new young studio of, well, we can do it better. We have an idea how to push this farther. I mean, that's exactly how Call of Duty came into being. Medal of Honor. Those games were dying towards the end by the time Call of Duty came out because they had the attitude of, hey, we like this World War II arena shooting. We can do this better.
I don't know.
I think that's more closer to the truth than what you're saying, Pete.
Well, here's the thing. You guys
then
say
who
that.
They listen to?
Well, but
who they listen
that's
to?
the
Let's say
thing.
they say like, let's say I'll give an example. Let's say if all the players are saying this is broken or this game needs this mechanic to be really good. And like, oh, well, you're saying this, you're not gonna blah blah. Blah. We're not gonna listen to you. Then who are they gonna listen to? Their game will just die out. You know what I mean?
Well, it's not a matter of who they listen to. It's a matter of who they don't listen to. And that's the thing. They did listen to social justice warriors. That was one of the whole problems. They listened to social justice warriors, and then nobody bought their games. Well, if the same thing happens with real gamers, whatever you want to call them, core fans, then the same thing is going to happen. They'll stop listening to those people. And who?
Then their games will
What
just
is
die
it?
out. Like I'm saying, like I'm not being harsh to this, but it's like then their games will just die out. That's just
Well,
the truth of
exactly.
it.
I don't want some of these games to die out. I don't want Call of Duty to die out.
If they're not willing to evolve and accept that people don't like exclusivity,
that-
don't like X anymore, then they just gotta deal with
Well,
that.
but
Get out, you know what I
here's
mean?
the thing: you can't. They can't be perfect in every way. Like,
Not perfect in every way, but exclusivity is definitely something people are not a fan of, like at all.
fair enough. But would you rather have?
What do I rather have? Like,
So hard to think about this shit while I'm
If a
playing.
younger studio came out and said, "Hey, we can do this better," yeah, I'd be willing to put my money on them, and I'd be willing to, you know, I'd be willing to put my money behind them just because with success usually comes stagnation, and
Sure.
Call of Duty they changed a lot with Modern Warfare. From what I played in the beta, like I'll give the studio that they went and changed a lot. They did listen to viewers, but for like the last 8 years, they've been stagnating hard.
Well, that's my whole point. During the stagnation, people weren't buying their games, and then now they listened to the people who weren't buying their games and changed most everything to buy. And apparently they're even doing a big revamp for an upcoming patch because there are some problems with the multiplayer, camping, a couple of weapons being overpowered, claymores, map design, and I can't remember the other thing that was mentioned. But oops.
But at a certain point, does it become loyalty to the actual critters behind them, or does it become loyalty to the brand itself? Because a lot of people at Infinity Ward and Treyarch itself too, they've left. They went on and started their own studios. They started Respawn.
that's
and
happened to most of Infinity
many,
Ward.
many others. Yeah, Infinity Ward has lost tons of people who have gone off and done their own thing. A lot of their founding members, a lot of the people who worked on the
They
early
went main
Call of Duties.
Titanfall.
I mean, so I mean, at a certain point, everybody leaves that studio, and at a certain point, it just becomes Activision who owns Infinity Ward. Like, nothing against the people still working there or who have just started working there, but my beef's with Activision. It's not with Infinity Ward.
It's for an
I don't think-
example comes that. Fuck. Sorry, you go first, my bad.
I was just saying, I don't think Call of Duty needs to live on just because it holds the Call of Duty name. You know what I mean? Like, if it is, if they're continuing to make terrible business decisions, if they're still stagnating, like they've changed stuff with this one, but I wonder how much of a change some of it is, like going forward in the grand scheme of this series. Is it really enough to actually keep it going forward, or are they going to come out with this one and these changes, and then the next iteration of Call of Duty is going to be extremely similar to Modern Warfare, because they've done that multiple times where they reissue same maps, same guns, different skins, and that's where a lot of my frustration with Call of Duty comes from.
Well, that's the easy one, and that if they do that, you just don't buy the next one. Like I didn't do for because this is the first Call of Duty I've bought. Well, actually, I didn't even buy it, but I would have bought since the original Modern Warfare. Because of the not only the stagnation, but also they were terrible.
I mean, Black Ops is as fuck. I'm not sure what you mean.
Black Ops was good. It wasn't in a direction that I liked. This one was in a direction I liked. And again, if I want to see them go in a direction I like, I have to support it. Otherwise, I can't complain when they go in a direction I don't like.
I mean, maybe, but I don't know.
And to your point about, Call of Duty, Infinity Ward, Activision, and all that, it's not about any of them, because it would be the same thing if a new company came out and, if some no-name company had come out and put out this exact game, I would still feel like I had to support it because it's still a game that's doing what I want to see happen in a game.
We're still on Call of Duty, Brim. Welcome back.
Hi.
Hey, that's all right.
I mean, what you're talking about like earlier, if like most of the Infinity War being gutted or left, that's the same thing at BioWare, for example. Like Mass Effect Andromeda was even made by the original BioWare. So
No,
you give
it's
an
a
example on that.
subsidiary studio. Well,
And
that
same
was a whole
with
other
Anthem.
studio.
And same with Anthem. Anthem was even made by the original BioWare, even though it's made by BioWare.
So, Call of Duty.
We just talked about it, yes.
Jesus Christ.
Damn.
Isn't there any other news besides the fuckery that is
I
like
mean,
the whole Sony
Overwatch 2
situation?
we can talk about.
Okay, so Overwatch 2, I'm a little mixed on it, honestly. It's not as bad as it could be, and it's better than I expected.
I'm in a little bit of a negative opinion on this one.
And I'm looking forward to Diablo 4, and I'm looking forward to the Warcraft Reforged. That's what I'm looking for.
I mean, I have a bit of a negative opinion on Overwatch 2.
And
Because to me,
World of Warcraft Shadowlands look pretty good. Sorry, Blue.
like, to me, it seems like Overwatch 2 is them trying to sell me the exact same game, the exact same everything, because you're going to be able to play with, like, everyone from Overwatch 1, for example, right? And stuff like that. And basically, it's going to be Overwatch, they're reselling a game to me for $80. This isn't an expansion that's optional. This is just an $80 resell to me. It just seems like Overwatch 2 so far.
So Overwatch 2 is going to be a total of $80?
Well, he's Canadian.
Canadian.
Yeah.
Canadian.
Oh.
Or $60 American.
Well, we actually don't know, I don't think. But most likely it'll be said. See, man, the original Overwatch launched at $30. And I'm not understanding how the game is now $60. And if they launch Overwatch 2 at $60, I'm not understanding how that's going down. Because, I mean, I think I paid $20 for it. I think I got it on sale. And, I mean, that was a pretty fair price. But, like, I would not have paid $60 for that game.
Same
Yeah, I
here.
think there's just a lot of confusion of why would I get Overwatch 2?
Well, I see what they were trying to do. They don't want to split their player base for the people who don't want to purchase Overwatch 2. They don't want to have
an expansion for
that,
it. Why not make an
and that's
expansion?
they're doing it.
Overwatch has such a hardcore player base, though. I bet you the vast majority of their players will go and buy Overwatch 2 if, there was no continued content for Overwatch 1. I mean, I don't know how many people on there buy, Smurf accounts, by second accounts on that game. It's a ridiculous portion of that community goes and buys all accounts.
You're right.
I think the majority of people would go on to Overwatch 2. I just don't see what I just don't understand what the point of it is. Like, I play a lot of Overwatch. My two main games, Destiny and Overwatch, and I don't see the reason outside of PvE stuff. Why am I buying Overwatch 2 if all the same stuff is going to be carried on in Overwatch 1? There's no new engine. There's no huge graphical update. What's the point?
Well, and even if there was, I mean, Dota 2 has been redoing the engine, and I know they completely overhauled the graphics. I thought if they didn't do a complete engine overhaul, they at least did a fairly significant engine overhaul. And that's the thing. If for what they're trying to do, they're going about it all wrong. If they want to not split their player base and launch a bunch of new stuff, it should just be an add-on pack or a expansion or
like Shadowkeep or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. I understand what they're trying to do. They don't want to split the player base. Fair enough, because it's a bad move when games split their player base. It happens all the time. DLC map packs and
Call of Duty, for example, stuff for
sure, or Battlefield, or it's bad news. It never works out well because inevitably you have a bunch of people who don't want to buy it, who don't, and then you have a bunch of people who do, and the bunch of people who don't, they get stuck with way less of a player base to play with because the people with the new stuff are all just playing all the new stuff. You know, I get that, but yeah, with how little they are doing to the game, it seems like a greedy move. That's what it seems like to me. It seems like good intentions, but doing it in a way that's just looking at the bottom line and not what's best for the game.
I mean, that's
well, it's just you got to remember this is an announcement. They didn't give you guys any details if there's going to be a new.
what we're
engine or not.
speculating, but
Well, they did.
speculation that we're-
I mean, we do know there will be PvE elements. We do
PvE
know
will be in Overwatch 2. PvP will play together between Overwatch 1 and 2. New heroes coming out with Overwatch 2 will be playable on Overwatch 1. Same with the maps. Those are going to be going back and forth. New modes. That's going to be on Overwatch 1 as well.
right,
And
except for the new graphical enhancements, which are not a
they're not a big
engine
jump.
overhaul. They're just a graphics overhaul.
And I mean, well, like the PvE stuff is fun, and I'll probably get it just so I can play the PvE stuff. I put enough time into Overwatch. I want to switch things up. Overwatch at its core is a PvP game, so I don't understand why they're just not making the new jump or making the jump to a whole. If they're going to be coming out with a sequel at all, why not just, you know, it feels like it's half-assed. You know what I mean? Like make the full jump. And I'm sorry to people who can't afford, you know, a new $60 game. It may sound harsh. Save your money and then get it. You know, so it's still
you don't
ways
have to
off.
get it day one. You don't have to get it, guys.
Exactly. You don't have to get it day one, or start saving your money now for it. If it's a struggle to get that $60. Not trying to sound harsh, but you know, they're a business. They do have to make money somehow, especially if they're going to be coming out with new content. It's just it's a weird mix, and I feel like instead of leaving Overwatch fans excited for something new, it's just left people confused.
Confused or outright against it. For me, like I was thinking about maybe getting back to Overwatch or Overwatch 2, but the more I think about it and we speculate about it, the more I just don't want to play it. If that makes sense. Because like if it's just gonna be like a half-ass like expansion, but they're selling it to me for like $80 Canadian. I'm sorry if I say the Canadian price all the time, but $80 Canadian or $60 American. It's like, you know what I mean? Like, what do you want me to do with that? Just buy the same game again, and it's the old games getting supported anyways at the same time. So I'm just spending money for no reason.
Yeah, exactly.
But see, here's the thing: if they didn't run the games together, we would be having a completely different conversation about how bad it is that they're breaking up the community.
But
no,
so
most of the Overwatch players would transfer over the 2. That's the thing, especially if they said like we're gonna be supporting Overwatch 2, Overwatch 1 will get its final update, and that's it. And then we're still gonna support Overwatch 2 is gonna be the main game, and if you want to go to Overwatch 2, your stats and everything will transfer over. Like that's fine all day to me, but
yeah, I think of it as, and I know I'm mentioning the game a lot, but Destiny. You know, same thing happened there too. Like it was a game as a service that came out with a sequel, and when they announced the sequel, a lot of people were thinking, "Oh, why?" I mean, for them, it was more like tech requirements, since they were still on the last gen consoles when Destiny 1 came out. But you know, it was something that could have continued as a game. It's a game as a service, so it doesn't necessarily need a sequel, but they did it anyways, and they revamped a lot of things. Even though it kind of had a poor launch when it came out, the excitement leading up to it, when they said, "Oh, we're going to have this and this and this, new systems, new engine, new way the weapons work. We're going to have these lost sector, like all this stuff in it." It actually got people excited. Whereas they're coming out with Overwatch 2 and they make the big announcement on it. What's new on it? I mean, PvP side is really what it comes down to, is what people get excited about in Overwatch, and there wasn't really much announcements.
Well, and here's the thing. Destiny 2, 1, has a shitload more content than Overwatch.
Oh, yeah.
And 2...
using it as like an example, not like an
I know, but you know, it's a comparable example because they both got sequels and they're both game as a service games. But the big difference is that Destiny 2 or Destiny as a game has a shitload more content.
Well, it didn't when Destiny 2 first came out. It
Right.
was lacking a lot of stuff, but they built up over time. I mean,
Well, but even Destiny by itself, even Destiny 2, just vanilla, has a shitload more content than Overwatch. And, like you said, there were actual major changes that were happening with Destiny 2, whereas with Overwatch, there's, a graphical
There's nothing to get
improvement
excited
and a
about it.
PvE. Everything else. Fucking Claymores.
The thing that cracked me up when I was watching the announcement trailer was when they were showing off the talent system.
To me, I don't like that new talent system at all.
Well, it doesn't bother me, but it cracked me up because I was thinking it gave me kind of a flashback to when Overwatch and Bloodborne came out at the same time. Bloodborne had the talent system in
you
it.
mean not Bloodborne? You mean Battleborn?
Oh yeah, Battleborn. My bad. Yeah,
You
it
forgot
came out
about
at the
it,
same
sorry.
time, and everybody was really bagging on Battleborn and promoting Overwatch, and then that game died. It just made me laugh that they pulled something from something that
Battleborn.
was seen as a direct competitor in the same launch window that died off. I don't know.
That's
The
the
other-
thing about these.
The other thing too is that games like Overwatch or Dota or Counter-Strike or any of these, you gotta treat them differently than regular games.
Obviously, we do for the most part.
But that's the problem, though. These developers, publishers don't have a line. They don't distinguish what a game as a service is versus what an actual game for the player is as a single player experience to a single player experience that's separated from a multiplayer experience. Like, they don't draw the lines anymore like they used to. So what is a games for a service? Is it Call of Duty? Is it Madden? Is it Torchlight 1 with a only single player situation? Like, that's how we're looking at it, but that's, you know what I mean? Like, what is a games for a service nowadays? What's the constituencies on that?
To me, a game like Overwatch or Dota or Counter-Strike or any of these, I would want to see a minimum of 5 to 10 year service life. Minimum.
That's what's happening with Destiny right now. Like when they apart from Activision, Bungie fully admitted that we're going to be staying up Destiny 2 for at least 2 to 3 more years for the most part.
Well, but they're releasing expansions, and that's fair enough because, like I said, Destiny 2 is a much different game than a game like Overwatch or Dota or any of those. But as far as primarily multiplayer, Overwatch is not a large game. They can't even make the excuse that they're putting out 5 or 10 characters a year or something like that. They're not. They're putting out 2, if that. What's their roster up to now?
It's not even like they say we don't want to fill people's hard drives
31.
up.
31?
31.
31 characters and a tiny amount of maps.
But weren't we promised more characters than that at launch? Like they were like toting some high number of almost 60, right?
And
like,
even
that was like
even if they did, I wouldn't even count that as an excuse. Look at how many fucking characters Dota has.
What,
like
Dota, 100 or
they're way over 100.
Rainbow Six. Didn't Rainbow Six come out about the same time?
It was pretty
Rainbow
close.
Six.
Yeah, I don't know.
Rainbow Six is a good comparison. Rainbow Six adds every new season, which is I think 3 months. They add 4 new characters.
Yeah,
12 new
4 new
operators
characters
a year.
And
Right?
new maps. It's. Yeah.
To answer your question though, Brem, I think anything that is any game that is receiving continual updates past a year, that's a game of service.
How
do you go a bit further than just
new content?
Like a
I
game
don't mean like
structured around
just
it.
patches and stuff like that, but I mean if they're past that year mark, if they're continuing to receive
Like expansions, stuff like that. I
content.
guess tons of those.
Yeah, new maps, new expansions, what characters, whatever you want to call them, new actual content. I'd put that as a game of service.
I see.
Overwatch is a game as a service to me.
Oh, definitely. But I see too many.
Whereas like a game like Call of Duty, yeah, they put out like lots of content each year for it. It's not really a game as a service to me because they move on to
It's
the next
only a
game
year.
after a year. It's sticking with that one product.
Yeah, that's fair. It's definitely fair.
And that's why
That's how I see it, at least.
I'm ultimately so skeptical of Overwatch 2. And honestly, unless they say Overwatch 2 is just an expansion, then I'm most likely probably not going to get Overwatch 2. Like, in all honesty.
I probably will.
I
To me,
don't.
It's like the PVE stuff. Like if it's really just PVE stuff, why are you calling it 2? Why are you labeling it as a sequel? 2 implies a whole new game.
Oh, that's
You know,
another thing. I think Overwatch's PvE content is lackluster and garbage, and a lot of people say it's not. I say it is. I've
the
played
PVE
all
stuff.
of
Oh
them.
yeah, they just had their Junkenstein's Revenge for
It's just
How
horde
Long to
mode.
Go. It's the same mode. There's no twist to it either. Like
It's
it's
just
the
I've
exact
never
same
even
thing.
played any of Overwatch's PvE, and I just could not care less.
Junkenstein mode's pretty fun, actually.
I
Well,
mean, I'm a
it's fun for
PvP
a little bit,
junkie, but
but it gets old after a while because it's the same thing, and year
Yeah.
in year out.
they haven't
it's
updated. I'm pretty sure. Still the same when they first came out. When the event first came out in Overwatch's first year, I remember I played it for the first time, and then for the second year I played it, and I'm like, wow, this mode's literally the exact same. There wasn't
Yeah.
even anything new.
There's no changes. Yeah, it's
yeah,
I don't know. I enjoy Overwatch for what it is usually.
I still love
I mean-
playing Overwatch, but
Yeah.
If you enjoy Overwatch for what it is, it's fine. I sort of dropped off of it, but if Overwatch 2 is gonna be like a fresh new start, or if you want to transfer over your stats, you can transfer over. I would have been super down for it, but it's like if it's just gonna be like, oh, we're sort of an expansion, but not really, but it's like this in between area. They're trying to like, it's like you know what I mean. I'm not
But
gonna.
but, but here's the thing. But here's the thing, though. Like I said, like you got to remember, they have been on a path of destruction and self deprivation. Like it's been bad for them lately with Blizzard. If they would have put Overwatch 2 as a truly second game, they would have been hung out to dry. Let's face it, it's true. Like they
For
have
what?
made
Like
so
what's
many,
better?
dude.
This or Overwatch 2 is being its own game.
You have to understand this, Blue. I mean, do you understand that what I'm saying? That they have fucked themselves and backed themselves into a corner so much that right now they're trying to play recovery and damage control on all of their shit.
If
Like,
that's the case,
I mean,
then they should have been putting all this shit out for free, or $10 expansion.
Or because if Overwatch 2 was like a $20 expansion, that would have done massive. Or even a $30 expansion, that would have done massive.
Yeah,
Versus like trying to sell it as its own game, but not really its own game, but its own game, and not, you know what I
yeah,
mean?
because the number 2 implies that it's going to be a full new game, which implies that it's going to have a $60 price tag.
and even then, right? Even if it was a complete new revamp, in my mind, it's still too soon. How long has Overwatch been out?
It came out in 2016, right?
Yeah.
So 3
Like-
years?
Mm-hmm.
4? When it? Ah, man, that is.
That's way
God.
too soon for the type of game it is.
I am. What's the right word?
Appalled.
No, well, yeah, but I mean, I am
I'm confounded.
wishing for the days when a good multiplayer game would go 10 years before it had a sequel.
Yeah, I just don't understand it. And the thing that worries me too, especially, is how they're going to handle microtransactions in the next one, because
Because
loot
they're gonna try to make
boxes
more money.
does not make them money, and
Not as
Overwatch
much as
League
they
has
used to.
been steadily losing money. They're shrinking down their Overwatch League, shrinking down the stadium, like whatever cost they can to make things smaller and less grandiose, because it's costing them too much money, and they're not making enough money, even with all the Twitch All Access Pass and stuff like that. I mean, they're just not making money, and I think they're going to find some way to try and recuperate some of that, and that has me fearful. I'd be willing to bet money that there's going to be some sort of debacle with microtransactions when Overwatch 2 comes out.
Like worse than Battlefront 2, you think?
I think something along those lines is going to happen.
Because Activision, there's a reason why Bungie left Activision. By the way, there's definitely a reason why.
Yeah. I think there's going to be some sort of, they're going to put it in some sort of microtransaction way. I don't know what it is, but I think it's going to upset a lot of fans. It's just a gut feeling. I have nothing to base this really on except that loot boxes doesn't make them money. It's a gut feeling of mine. I think
Blizzard should try to leave because the thing is, they don't publishers are gonna be not gonna be required anymore. A lot of times, at least I don't think they will be. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
Maybe. So, is there any
'Cause
other gaming news? Is there anything else? Is there?
There's Diablo 4, but do we have any information on that or no?
Well,
It's just
they showed gameplay. They showed gameplay. I think I told you earlier today, Blue. They really look like they're going back to the drawing board with that game, and I'm actually excited for it, bro.
What's
I
up,
mean,
CT?
yeah, it
I've
looks
never
more,
played.
Go ahead.
I never played Diablo 2, but I like 3. I know it might not be sound good to everyone, but I like 3 and never played 2. So if it's 2 is better and they go back to 2, great. If it's 3, then I'll probably play it.
I like that the art style is more reminiscent of 1 and 2.
Yep, same.
3 was very cartoony almost, and watching the gameplay trailer for
What
4,
about
it
what
feels
about
more
the way
gritty
they
and grim.
what about the way the impacts were? Didn't it
Yeah.
look like, bro, the hits from 1 and 2 were because the 1 and 2 definitely the impacts you could feel the hit.
Yeah.
In 3, it wasn't like that. It was it was fun. It's a good game, but you
Yeah, I
didn't
had
feel
fun
the
with
hit. Yeah, you didn't feel the hit though.
It didn't feel
And-
quite the same.
Right. And in 4, when I saw the gameplay video, I mean, the guy fucking put his axe into a skull, and it looked like it stopped because it was sort of stuck. And then he had to rip it out, and that's when it finally died. And I thought that was kind of cool. I was like, hey, that's actually pretty neat.
Yeah, it looks like it's going back to the. I actually have confidence in Diablo 4.
Same.
I think that team has. I think they learned their lesson with 3.
Yeah.
And the way they turned 3 around, I'm pretty confident in the way 4
Now they
is gonna
got-
turn out.
Well, I saw that they brought back the Druid, and now it's hype, bro. I'm like, oh my
Yeah.
god, the Druid, bro. That was one of my all-time favorite characters.
I just
For
want the
us,
assassin
good.
back.
They'll probably bring back the assassin, honestly, because if they have all the characters, as long as I can play as my wizard or demon hunter or just wizard, I'm fine for the most part. I'm a simple man.
Bro.
I like wizards.
Bro, if they could bring back all the things that made Diablo 2 great with what made Diablo 3 great and put it into one game with 4's current animation style, that would be the perfect game for me.
I mean, imagine if they made Diablo, I know everyone likes it's bird's eye up view, but I think maybe a third person view for Diablo I would like a lot more.
That'd be
Dealing
cool. Or
by
give us the
lines.
option for it.
Heresy.
Sorry, yeah, I
No.
basically stole Pete's line. Sorry.
Yeah, I would be down for a third person style Diablo.
Or an option at least. Yeah, that'd be nice. I don't know.
Because I mean, keep it hack and slash, but more like Witcher 3 style controls with the hack and slash combat.
I don't see that happening for a long time.
I don't see it happening either, but I think that would be a good evolution of the Diablo 2 or of the Diablo game
Series.
style.
I think they are gonna stick with the core aspects of the game and more or less play it safe. I don't mean that in sort of with the negative connotation that usually goes with that.
Right.
But I think they messed up with the launch of Diablo 3 and they worked really hard and pulled it back around. Then they messed up with Diablo Immortal. That made a lot of people mad.
Yeah.
I think they're just I think they're gonna walk the straight and narrow with this one and stick to the core concepts of the game.
Bro,
Probably.
that's what I'm saying. I think so too, because they've made so many mistakes, bro. In the last year, it's been bad for them. Actually, I take that back. The last 2 years, right? The last 2 years have been pretty rancid for them. So, I mean,
Yeah.
and like I said, Shadowlands looks really good for World of Warcraft, bro. I was looking at the cinema, and I see that they're playing on Baby Boo storyline.
Yeah, I have no comment on World of Warcraft. I don't play that game.
I used to play the shit out of it, so I know all the nerd shit about World of Warcraft. So.
Yeah, I used to a long time ago, and
believe
I refuse to. That is a dead horse that they need to stop beating.
That's not a dead horse, sir. If it was a dead horse, they wouldn't be making the millions that they make off of it.
The only reason they're still making millions off that game is because none of the comparable MMOs that have come out have either been good enough to unseat them, or Jesus.
Less competition.
Well, either good enough to beat them, or have been able to go long enough to get the player base to actually, like, because WildStar was my shit. I thought WildStar was what World of Warcraft should have been from the very beginning. God, that game was so good. It had so many fucking cool features. The combat was amazing because it wasn't just lock on. If you're in range, your attack. I mean, obviously it doesn't hit, but if you're in range and you're locked on, your attack goes to them. WildStar actually had attacks that had areas that it would threaten, and you had to have the right positioning and rotation and all that for your attack to hit. It was so great because it actually added a level of
strategy.
Strategy, but also skill with either I don't know if you could play it with a controller, but skill with mouse and keyboard. And I mean, it wasn't just get up close to him and keep hitting the attack buttons until
or click fast.
Yeah, exactly. It was so much more than that, and then boss fights were amazing because the bosses would have all sorts of crazy, there'd be certain areas that were threatened and certain areas that weren't, and you'd have to, once they started attacking, you had to jump into one of the areas that was not threatened in order to avoid getting hit and shit like that. And that's just for the combat, because they had a bunch, like, God, what every MMO ever should do with everything, where any piece of equipment can be made into a cosmetic only what do they call it, ornament, or whatever you want to call it, where if you like the look of a piece of gear, you didn't have to keep wearing that gear. You could turn it into an ornament and make any gear you want look like that. I mean, not, obviously not any gear. It had to be the same type. But, if you like the look of one helmet, you could make any helmet look like that helmet. And if you like the look of one set of claws, like my character used claws, and so if you like the look of a particular set of claws, you could make any claws look like those claws. And God, man, Destiny's starting to do it with ornaments, but it's not nearly as good as WildStar had it. And then, there was all sorts of other cool features that it had that like I said, that's the game that World of Warcraft should have been. But and it went for a good long time, but they couldn't get the players.
I mean, I think WildStar has the name recognition. Like, I know you may disagree with this, it's fine. But I think you remember that Knights of the Republic MMO that happened? I think if it launched like WildStar or better, I think that could have easily been WoW. Because Star Wars has the name recognition more than WildStar, for example.
Yeah.
I think that, but they fucked it up, and now Star Wars is kind of getting fucked up, so it doesn't have the name, you know what I mean? Just not anymore. Star Wars can do it, but before, when Star Wars was at its prime, it definitely could have done that. What you're talking about, like beat World of Warcraft.
Well, it doesn't have to beat it, but gain enough players to be competitive, because that's the thing. So many. It's not just that WoW has the players, right? The problem is that WoW has the players, and MMOs are so different from other games because with a game like Call of Duty or Overwatch or whatever, it doesn't really matter if you jump in and play for a little while and then stop playing for a week or a month or 6 months. You know, you can always just jump back into it and start playing again, and it's no big deal. With WoW, you know, you're paying that monthly fee. And so if you're not playing, you're you know, literally just lighting money on fire every month. And so it's got a hook that keeps people coming back and keeps people coming back for a lot of time. And so it's very difficult to get, you know, it's real easy to get people to buy more than one shooter because they can always split their time, and even if they don't spend a whole lot of time in one particular shooter, well, it's not like you're spending $15 a month. But with an MMO, you know, it's real hard to get people to switch over because they're not gonna. Most people are not gonna split their time between two MMOs, especially when one of them has a monthly service fee. It's too much of a time commitment, and it's too much of a money commitment. Even if it's a free to play game like WildStar or, you know, EVE Online or is EVE Online free to play? I can't remember. There's a bunch.
Yeah, it's free to play.
You know, or Black Desert Online, or, you know, there's a bunch of them on Steam now.
Actually, Black Desert is it Korean MMO? It's called.
Yeah, it's Korean. It's like $10, but there's no monthly.
But there's no monthly. Yeah, so it, you know,
the only one who does monthly.
I mean, it's a Korean MMO, but
no, I thought there
MMOs
was. I thought there was one other
Final
that.
Fantasy 14 Reborn.
Oh yeah.
Oh no, there's one other than that. I thought it was a space one that had a monthly too. Not EVE Online. I thought there was one of the others.
Space one.
There's
another space MMO out there that does that.
Yeah.
I know Knights of the Republic that has online subscription.
They don't have a subscription anymore.
Or
I don't know. I know there's a lot of them that offer like optional subscriptions. You know, like ESO will do that, where you get you get access to.
Oh, that was the other one. Like Elder Scrolls Online used to have a subscription fee.
Yeah, they ditched it. Now
they got rid of it because no one wanted it.
And you'll get, I actually like what they do. Like, instead of buying all the previous expansions, you pay the $15 a month and you can play through everything.
All the thing.
Yeah, which is nice. So if you want to burn through everything in like 2-3 months, you know, that's only $45 versus dropping a couple $100.
Dropping
yeah, if you're coming in late. So.
Or you just do what I do and wait till they go on sale.
I mean, it's sort of like the idea of just buying what you want, or buying content you want to play, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. I actually like ESO. It's about the only one I can get into. Can't get into WoW. I need more shooty.
You need more like gameplay than just a click fest, if that makes sense.
Shooty.
I loved WoW, but they fucked it up after Burning Crusade with was it? I always get these two confused. Wrath of the Lich King and fuck. God, I'm getting old.
I've never been able to get into like those top down. Is that what it's called? Top down bird's eye view. Like those top down.
Well, there's
isometric.
Yeah, isometric.
I've never been able to get into like isometric MMOs, but because they just felt like, I'll be honest, they felt so slow to me. Isometric MMOs versus like isometric like.
World of Warcraft's actually pretty fast.
I'm down for that Lost Ark, dude. I've been waiting for Lost Ark for a while.
I tried World of Warcraft, and I'll be honest, it felt too slow to me. Versus something like Diablo 3 or God of War, for example. Obviously, God of War's not MMO, but it's like a hack and slash game with like that same perspective in the air, if that makes sense. All the original ones, that is.
I'm waiting for Lost Ark. I'm hyped for D4. I'm actually looking forward to it. Lost Ark is supposed to be like what everybody was saying was going to be like the Diablo killer, which, let's be honest, you can't kill Diablo, so why even say it?
So if people said this is going to be the WoW killer, yeah, it ain't happening.
Yeah, pretty much, right?
Nothing will kill WoW at this point. Even
Final
if
Fantasy is really the only competitive paid subscription right now for World of Warcraft. They're sustaining their player base and gaining subscriptions all the time. They're like second place right now. Guild
about
Wars is, I
Dragon?
believe, third place.
Guild Wars. That's what it was. Guild Wars. Yeah, I was thinking of. Oh, the Guild Wars isn't that. Guild Wars compete with that as well.
Yeah, Guild Wars. Well, not for
Well-
money. Not for money. They compete in player numbers, and they're like right up there in the free to play market. They're like number 1. I believe Blade and Soul's number 2.
And Guild Wars is a completely different game.
Not
I mean,
really.
I don't really like Guild Wars. I played and tried Guild Wars too.
I mean,
Was
Guild
not
Wars
a
is
fan.
straight up action, and it's, you know,
It's really good.
I mean,
a
it's
really
it's
good
an actual third person like Witcher 3 style combat,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, that's
So
always been the biggest struggle for me with like WoW. It's just the combat, like the story, the world. That's all amazing. Because I've tried multiple times over the years to get into it, and
Come on, man.
Just-
You can't play for the
combat's
god.
boring to
You
me.
can't play for the
It's not my thing.
the goddess's tale that's coming up of Shadowlands, where Sylvanas is literally a badass. Come on, bro.
I didn't understand a fucking word you just said.
Sylvanas is Bay. That's all you need to know, Jace.
I mean, that's
Jeez.
why I played Rogue, because Rogue actually had interesting combat. You had to actually like be on your toes and switch things up, and you know, have good reflexes and shit like that. But even with that, it was still
Like,
much slower than a lot of other
I like
games.
more. I like more involved combat, if that makes sense. Like, to just best describe it. Like, I'm more involved in it than just. I go and I have an enemy game constantly clicking on an enemy, then every once in a while I'll press an E or some shit like that.
Well, Rogue is definitely not like that, but again, it's still a lot slower than
That's like
a lot of
of
other
World of
games.
Warcraft's gameplay seems to be, because I've watched like gameplay. Like I've watched gameplay of World of Warcraft raids, and they just seem so uneventful to me.
Well, yeah, I never played raids. That's PvP is my shit.
Dude,
So
World of Warcraft raids were the shit. I was all about the raid system for a while. But the PvP, the mass PvP in that game is addicting. Like I got
Yep.
really hooked in it.
that
I
was
mean, I
what
know
really
people-
got me.
I mean, my dad tells me like when he played WoW, he tells me stories about like him in open world PvP. Like he would go fuck up people who were trying to go to these certain dungeons, because he had to walk to all these dungeons originally. So he
Right.
would like camp at a certain dungeon and go fucking murder people every time, and then they would have to respawn and walk
Yeah.
all the way back.
Yep, that's what we did with Dead Mines. If you're a horde, you'd camp the Dead Mines area where all the newbies would spawn, and you just keep popping them off.
Yep. But for me, it
And
was
they'd get so
Battlegrounds.
mad.
Battlegrounds were my
Battlegrounds was
shit,
my
man.
shit.
Oh
Yeah,
my
Battlegrounds,
god.
dude. The honor gear is amazing in that game.
10
What
player.
about Land
Best looking honor
Marshal
gear.
or Lord Marshal? It's called, I think.
Yeah. My Shadow Priest, all I had to do.
Oh
with
god,
the
you are a
spec that I
shadow
had-
priest.
Bro, all I had to do is like I see a group of guys, I'd be like mind
Honest-
slay,
if I could play-
dot.
if I
30
could play
kills
World-
in less than a minute. There we go.
If I could play World of Warcraft when it's like PvP open world and it's kind of trolly where you just camp at a dungeon, kill a guy, and just like they spawn, and they walk all the way back. To me, that seems like more fun than actual just like
Bro,
normal stuff from World of
Bro,
Warcraft.
just go. So like, okay, so Darkshire, the Barrens, and the Salted Flats were the 3 main PvP areas for noobs getting ganked, because that's where you had to do a lot of your main story quests to get your better gear.
Oh.
So like, we would fuck with them, dude. I'd be with my boys, and I'd be with my Shadow Priest, fucking camped out, dude. Fucking just chilling, acting like we weren't gonna attack anybody. We'd do the stupid emotes, to make them feel comfortable. Just
You're a
before
dick,
they got to their raid, we're like, boop, done.
I just want to say, like, I don't really understand what you're talking about, but I love your mannerisms there, Brem. I'm not poking fun. I'm really not. I'm just it's like a it was just making me think of like a war veteran telling stories like
Back in my day.
fucking man, they didn't know what hit them. Like,
I mean, that's a lot. That's
Bro,
how a
you
lot of
haven't
people
seen
have
shit
played
about
War-
war.
I mean, that's I'll be honest.
You've seen Warcraft.
Original World of Warcraft vets are really narcissistic like that, where they're like, listen, it's like World of Warcraft. I remember we had like our version Normandy in World of Warcraft, and so you're like, oh Jesus.
Yeah, we do that in Destiny, Blue. Like,
Bro.
I
really.
mean, yeah, but it's
Bro.
less
Bro.
narcissistic when I'm doing it. So
yeah,
Bro,
not when you do it.
You know what I can't wait to see though, honestly, you guys, and I say this with like,
guns
most
in
serious
World of Warcraft.
seriousness. Like, I want to see gaming communities in the U.S. be as dedicated as they are in Korea.
To what? I mean, because
Okay.
they're pretty dedicated here.
Okay. So just hear me out. In Korea, there are people over there in their 70s that are StarCraft veterans. They play StarCraft over there like the old guys here play golf. They talk about StarCraft like it's golf over there.
I
just want you to put that in your mind that a video game that is so popular over there has instilled this kind of
I mean, my grandma plays
mentality
StarCraft.
over there. Huh?
I mean, my grandma plays StarCraft.
Really?
I
you
still
fucking with
I
me?
still boot up
No,
StarCraft
she-
every once in a while.
Plays it on her computer. She brings like got her own Switch and shit. And
That is fucking awesome, dude. Are you fucking with me because you're laughing?
I mean, the thing is, I have a problem with Korean MMOs in general, though, because Korean MMOs, to me, a lot of them are just pay to win.
Yeah, well, you know, that's the China and Korean and all that. Yeah, it's
Less
It's-
meritocracy
it's
over
the
there.
Wild
why-
West.
You know why they're built like that for Korean MMO publishers and developers? You know why they're like that? They have something over there that is a huge market that we don't have over here: internet cafes. They drive about 30% of North Korea's economy.
North Korea,
Not
yeah, they
South
play
Korea.
StarCraft in North Korea.
South Korea, sorry, South Korea.
I can
was
imagine
too
King
random.
Jong-un getting mad at me.
No.
These people killed because this guy in StarCraft kicked my ass, dog. Fuck him.
Well, no, like it's seriously though, it's a big market out there, and they need to bring people back to their fucking internet cafes. So what they do is they charge a small fee into these internet cafes, so where these guys, it's so cheap that these guys don't have to pay for their own internet or their own computer systems, and they farm up for as long as possible. And the longer they're in there, the more money the cafe stands to make. And a lot
mean,
of those
don't a lot of
cafes
people
are ran
die,
by
though, in
publishers
there?
and developers. So it's crazy.
Do a lot of people die in those cafes? Though I hear stories of people just like playing so much like
Yeah,
StarCraft
dude,
at a
there was a
cafe
kid-
that it's
there
like
was a-
they
there was a-
die in there.
There was a kid that played StarCraft 2 for almost 2.5 days straight. Nobody said anything to him, and he just died with his eyes open, staring at the monitor in a
That's my
regular
dream.
position like this, and nobody knew anything different. Nobody knew he was dead. Nobody knew he was dead until he started smelling funny.
That's my dream. I'm actually working to accomplish that, so I never have to leave my chair.
Oh Jesus.
I've just ordered a catheter.
Jace, do you have a poop bucket?
My
Do you have a
desk.
poop bucket? You need to have a poop bucket.
Well, it's more of a pail.
For a pail.
It's a bedpan that's really deep. It's like a TARDIS. It's smaller on the outside than it is
Oh.
on
I wear it as a helmet when I stream Call of Duty.
the
Just trying to fit in with you guys.
Well,
No, it's just
I don't wear a poop bucket on my head, so
I
Same shit, different day, right?
you said same shit when we're talking about poop buttons.
Same
Funny.
shit, different.
That's the Call of
Toilet.
Duty tag, right? Or that they always put on there.
No, the Call of Duty tag is I'm gonna fuck your mom. That is the Call of Duty tag.
I mean, I feel like your mom is coming back now as an insult.
oh yeah, they're starting to ban you for everything else.
Your mother
No, like-
likes juice boxes in heaven.
No,
Like,
because
man.
Like, yeah, she does.
unironically, your mom jokes are probably gonna come back at this rate. Like low key. I said low key. I'm gonna kill myself, but anyways.
By the way, what's up, Don G?
I would like Yo Mama jokes to come back.
I mean, I kind of missed them
Miss
low key.
them
Oh,
out.
I
dude, there were good ones.
He said low key again.
I'm sorry. Not really, but
Hey,
kind
I'll
of
just.
sorry.
How about this? We'll break you the habit. Every time you say low key, I'll just go. "Ah."
All right.
It'll
Bebo,
stop you.
Bebo. Hey, Pete, did the time change for you yet?
It's still 4:30. It's still 4 o'clock in the morning for me on my computer.
It says 139.
Yeah. Did
Alright.
Did we pass
Yeah,
2 a.m.?
so 2:48 is on my phone right now. So yeah, it switched over.
Okay.
So we're 1 o'clock again, guys. Wah!
I mean,
It's 4:39
Like I
39
said,
for me,
I
so.
don't leave my desk, so I don't know.
You
I
don't
just-
leave your desk. Yeah.
I don't know what time it is.
It's understandable, dude.
computer.
You have a poop bucket. You have a catheter. I mean,
I mean,
And I
going
just use
outside for
Postmates.
nerds, so.
Postmates.
I got a little like I'm on the second story, and I just got a little like conveyor belt that I raise up for when I order food. Sometimes they're confused about how it works, so I just when you order pizza, they give you the little note section. I just tell them come inside. Keys under
Speaking
the
of
little
that,
fake rock. Feed it to me if you want. I'll
Like,
tip you extra.
I'll tip
speaking
you extra
of
if you give it
this,
to me
this
through my little door flap.
we got. Listen, the Game Talks got sponsored. Shotgun Legends, the best mobile game ever. Buy it now, Shotgun Legends, the Google Play Store. Also, this stream is sponsored by NordVPN. If you want to browse and watch porn in private, you watch NordVPN, or you get NordVPN. There
You
go,
watch
kids.
NordVPN?
I mean, if the Game Talk got sponsored, I'd be the worst at it. Holy shit.
You need to work on your copy.
Yeah, right.
What if I want to not hide my porn while I watch it? Do I still go through NordVPN?
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
who uses
Yes.
Gotcha, bitch.
I mean,
Who
I use
uses
it,
what the fuck are those called?
Incognito?
Yeah, who uses incognito windows when they look at
I
porn?
don't. I use Outcognito.
so.
It sends emails out all to your family and friends.
Bro, you know what I think is still funny to this day is when UJizz and YouPorn first launched, they literally had a share to Facebook button on their fucking video player, dude.
Oh my god.
I was like, bro, like who the fuck has the balls to hit share on the porn they're watching to their friends and family?
Tweet about what you
Wait.
just watched.
Can you imagine?
What's the joke? Are you not supposed to hit that? I thought that's how you marked it as complete like in a test.
Yeah, that's how you
Can you
keep track of what you already watched.
I have
You're-
completed this section.
You're
On to the
scrolling on You're scrolling on Facebook, or your mom's scrolling on Facebook, and she sees UJizz.com. Single girl gets fucking banged by 20 dudes. Just imagine your mom.
I always felt like there was a missed opportunity with that website, like with like as a new slogan based off the ice cream song. And instead of review stream, it's you jizz, I jizz, we all jizz for.
Jizz cream?
I don't know, I'd have to think of something that rhymes, but there's something in there.
Yeah, what rhymes with jizz?
That's a good question. We should think about that. We should name the podcast "What Rhymes with Jizz."
The biz? Give her the biz?
You jizz on the biz.
We should probably call up Snoop Dogg and ask.
He would know, obviously.
For shizzle, my jizzle.
Oh, dude, I actually cried how funny that was. I'm sorry. Brim said something so simple, but yeah, it was so funny.
Jesus Christ. It's seriously though, think about it, bro. Like fucking
Share
straight
on
up.
Facebook.
It wasn't a joke. They actually had that, dude,
Is
right
it still there?
No,
I
I
don't know if
don't
it's still
think so. I don't think so. I
But
think
when
they
they
took it
first
out.
launched, they did have it though, and I thought that was the funniest shit. I'm like, which motherfucker has the balls to hit that button, dude? Like, I
Well,
want to know.
I think I was about to say it. I think I probably would. Like, to be honest, I would probably do it.
Bro, that shit was so funny back in the day. I was like, dude, like, really?
Someone
Like, they
looked-
actually thought about Twitter and Facebook on a porn site.
They do give you an embed option.
Ad
But it looks
blocker
like-
plus and ad block origin. All right, here we go, boys.
It does look like yeah, the share button's gone. Oh my god.
He looked.
Well, we gotta make sure, you know, for science.
Yeah, you should be receiving an email from my Outcognito browser here shortly.
Could you
Don't
imagine?
worry about
Don't
I got
worry,
your
we're
emails.
all part of the same email listing, so we're all gonna see what he sees.
Could you
I want
imagine
to
that
share
actually
the
happened?
experience.
Can you imagine like your Facebook give you like a current updater to like everyone in your Facebook list? So and so is watching porn. So and so just watched a video of a girl getting banged in a washroom. So and so did this on Pornhub.
Oh,
I mean, I'd kind of want to have a
A
almost
constant
intervention with
updater.
them and say you need to expand your horizons. Someone out there, can you please build that Alcognito? I feel like that's a money maker, and I would utilize it.
send to your family. So
know
and
it
so
started
just
off
watch
as a joke.
incest.
Like,
So and so just
it
watched
would
stepbrother
make money.
porn. Can you imagine like can you imagine like you just found out your brother watched your brother watched like stepsister porn or whatever? That's gotta be real awkward.
brother, I was taking a shower.
I actually type in the search bar "Blue Psycho." There's been some interesting results so far.
Oh,
What
I'd love to
Yeah.
see those
Curious.
results.
It shows like a man, like it says Blue Psycho Man over here. Or
I actually
Florida
came
Man.
up with the photo you're running right now.
Actually, listen, my girl Tyga is amazing.
That's not even Tyga.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not. Her hair's wrong, bro.
You're wrong, but we'll argue about this later.
Oh, no, sir. I know Tyga's hair. That's not. Oh, fuck you. That's not Tyga's hair.
We'll argue about this later because we gotta go back to talking about porn. But I mean, we're talking
Is
about anime, so it's kind of the same
Is her
thing.
name
but anyways.
actually like Taiga? Or is it
Taiga, yes. And they call her Tenori Taiga, palm top tiger, because she's super short.
It just sounds like you're trying to say the word tiger, but you don't know how to finish it.
Yeah, well, that's that's a lot of Japanese stuff.
Listen, I masturbate to hentai. I mean, watch it. Same thing.
Yeah, that's not some big revelation or anything, dude.
But the problem is, like, hentai
Notice
is
how
art,
nobody
though.
went,
If my mom
Why would
ever
you
saw,
even
Should
not
I
be
have been
that
surprised?
wide open, bro?
Oh my god. I didn't know.
I mean, because I'll be honest, my mom probably thinks I watch hentai because she walked in on me watching Fire
Your mom
Force.
probably thinks you're gay. Come on.
I mean, here's the thing: she actually thought I was gay at one point because I wear a pink shirt when I go to bed. So,
And like when you were asleep, you were bobbing your head back and forth while you were dreaming, right?
yes, basically.
She's like, I wanted to come in and check on you, but you look like you're balls deep in someone's ass. In your
No,
dream.
it's just my mom because I like really flashy colors. So my mom thought I was gay at one point for liking flashy colors.
Flashy colors.
Well, I mean, I think you're gay, but that's for a whole host of other reasons.
You have no proof. I don't want to hear it.
I mean,
I want to see
it's
court
not
documents
obviously.
here, Pete.
Court documents.
Wait, we're talking about hentai and masturbation. Why would there be court documents? You
This
know
is a
what?
Video game.
I don't want to know all of a sudden.
No, sir.
'Cause-
This is a show about everything with a video game slant.
All right. What? Anything else happened?
We are the
before
Game
we-
Talk. We talk about everything.
Is there anything else that has happened in the gaming world before we divulge into madness?
Outer Worlds launched.
I love it.
Yeah, because I think
How is it?
I
How is
think
it?
Jace is the only one that's played it. So
It's amazing.
I have it, but I haven't played it.
I wasn't able to put it down. I actually died at my chair playing it.
He's actually
I
talking
had
to
call
his
the
VS
paramedics and bring
ghost.
it back. It's fantastic. It's what I've been wanting from Obsidian for so long now, for a decade.
Is it like
now.
Fallout New Vegas? Because that's one of my favorite Fallout games of all time. I think it's probably the best Fallout, but
There's definitely lots of it that's going to feel reminiscent of New Vegas. The gunplay is so much better than New Vegas. Thank God.
is it more like
I mean-
4? Fallout 4? Because
Because
that's my biggest thing. My biggest complaint with like Fallout 3 is that the gunplay was not like Fallout 4.
Fallout 3's gunplay sucks. You basically play the entire game in that. So it's like a turn-based game.
I mean that my perfect Fallout would have been Fallout 3, but with Fallout 4's, I know it's the same engine, but you know their engine, their gunplay, their
Gunplay,
you know, that,
but even
that
the
kind of
gunplay in
stuff.
Fallout 4 is kind of doo-doo.
they actually pulled people from Bungie, FYI, to help with Fallout 4's gunplay.
Because they're like their gunplay is so bad. It's like, all right, we need them with Destiny's gunplay in
No,
here or
the-
something
the-
like that.
The shooting the shooting is fun. What I like about it though is it's probably it's not like a huge MMO or not huge
RPG.
RPG. You know, it's probably to do everything in the game. It's about 30-ish hours. But there's so many different paths and avenues you can take down it, which is what I absolutely love. They really, really came out with the outset of like, we know people who like RPGs, they like the Dungeons and Dragons kind of like style where you can go any direction you want. And I think this is probably the most limitless RPG that I played, where you can really just go out there and do whatever you want. And oh my god, our melee build's fun. There's so much fun. I've never liked playing melee builds in RPGs. I love it in this one. It feels so good. But yeah, the characters are all really unique. There's the black humor that Obsidian has been great for. I'm not really a big fan of Fallout 3 and 4 just because they don't feel like Fallout to me. I'm a big fan of the originals. They always have like the black humor in it, just weird shit going on, and
Plus, they were turn-based.
Well, going
I
from
mean,
that to first part, that didn't bother me. It's just
I
it
didn't
didn't
like
have the
Fallout 4, but
same
it was different
vibe.
reasons for that.
Yeah.
I didn't feel like it had the same vibe as it. Whereas New Vegas has that. It's got that black humor in it, and yeah, I thoroughly enjoy it. If you guys
How's the
want a good
choice?
RPG.
How, like, I know you mentioned it, but how's the choice? Because I remember in New Vegas, for example, one of the main villains in New Vegas, you'd be able to kill him early off because if you had high charisma and you were a female character, you can actually sleep with the main villain and kill them in their sleep as like a choice in the game. Like, it's a literal option. Or you can straight up just skip the main campaign. Can you do that in the Outer Worlds? Like stuff like that. Not like the sleep with that, but like basically limitless options. What I'm at,
Yeah. They really. That's the thing I love about Obsidian is when they make an RPG, they really go in with the attitude of, we want you to take this in any direction you want to go.
like
We
you
want to
actually
be able
have
to-
full choice. Unlike Fallout 4, where like you had to basically do the main quest a lot of the times, even if you wanted to do your own thing, you had to do main quest eventually.
Yeah, there is. I mean, there's because you basically like planet hop for the most part, but there's tons of quests for each planet to do, and they don't have. Oh, thank God, they don't have collectibles. I'm so sick of that in RPGs, open world RPGs. But there's lots of actual like story missions to do and stuff like that, and you know, eventually you'll hit a certain point where, like, okay, I've done everything on this planet. Now I got to play the story mission to be able to hop to the next one. But I mean, you could, although you could technically go to most of the planets. You could just say right out from the get go. Once you get your ship going, you can just say, "Hey, I'm going to go over to this planet," even though the story hasn't progressed there yet. So they do give
Oh,
you
so
the
you straight
option.
don't have to follow the main story a lot of times or right
No,
away.
you don't have. Yeah, you don't have to. Although I would recommend, you know, go to a planet, do all the side missions, then do the story mission that'll end up taking you to the next planet. At least on your first playthrough. That'd be my
I mean, it's one of the
recommendation.
reasons why I love New Vegas, because New Vegas to me felt like a true RPG or a true RPG, like what Fall was described as. Because in New Vegas, you can straight up just not do the main storyline at all
Yeah,
and just do your own thing.
yeah. I'm really happy with this. Obsidian is one of my all-time favorite developers. I love those guys out over there so much. They're so great. So I've been looking forward for this game for a long time. Like even before the announcement, I knew at some point they'd come back to a first-person shooter kind of RPG. Fallout New Vegas is loved so much; it'd be hard for them not to come back to it.
I mean, if Bethesda did like a Fallout in New Vegas, if Bethesda literally just made Fallout New Vegas, but with just Fallout 4's gunplay, I would literally buy that and play that for eternity.
Yeah,
If that's possible.
So I'm like 99% of the way through. I haven't completely beat it, but from what I can gather of what I played, there seems to be a lot of replayability in it. If you want,
Can you avoid gunfights sometimes? Like just talk your way out of gunfights, for example, in that game.
Yeah, I'd say like 90% of the time. Because
Oh,
like the character I'm running
I
right
love that
now
shit.
is smooth. Like I wasn't joking when I was telling you earlier before the podcast. I like my characters really really ugly, and then just make them the ultimate charmers. So the character I'm playing through right now is totally a smooth talker. The Han Solo type. Talk yourself out of any situation. And yeah,
Yeah,
I've done
like-
that a couple times while playing, where it'd be like, well, I could go and kill you or intimidate you and just attack all of a sudden. They give you a lot of options. I like that. And I've been able to talk my way out of a lot of stuff.
Oh man, that sounds like that sounds exactly what I wanted Fallout 4 to be.
Yeah, I'd say everybody except for of course, like the random ads you come across in the game.
Obviously not the random ads
Sounds
I'm talking about.
That sort of sounds like the good old days of Elder Scrolls. You know what I mean? Like
I mean,
you were able to do that kind of thing. Well, no, like Morrowind, even like in Morrowind, you were able to do that. You were able to talk your way out of things, or they would try to kill you or mug you.
Yeah, I haven't played, like, I haven't been hooked on an RPG probably since New Vegas. Like, it's been that long. I haven't felt.
He's like, truthfully, since RuneScape.
No, I didn't know RuneScape existed, honestly, until the other day. Somebody told me. I thought it died when I was in middle school. No, but I haven't really been hooked on an RPG since, almost 10 years. And this one I just dived immediately into it. Like, there's been good RPGs in there. And, like, even The Witcher, like, I really love The Witcher and I love the book series and all that. But I don't know. There's something special about the way Obsidian makes their RPGs that just, at least for me, it hooks me.
I feel like the different Witcher and Outer Worlds style RPG though are different because The Witcher is already based off of one character, Geralt, versus Outer Worlds, where I assume you make a character, right? Like he's no background, no nothing. For
that's
example,
what I mean. Like I haven't had a RPG hook me in that long time. Like there's been great ones in the meantime, but I just haven't had that hook. I just love Obsidian's weird, fucked up humor. I connect.
That's fair. That's fair. Yeah.
I just like blank slates, but I also like the RPG style of like Witcher 3, where it's like you're kind of Geralt and you Geralt, like you can't just be not Geralt, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But like you have all these choices. Like I like those two style of RPGs. And obviously not everything can follow that. Like Fallout 4, I don't think I can really call Fallout 4 an RPG, but not really.
That's what I loved about the Fable series when Fable was first a thing.
Fallout 4 was Fallout Minecraft.
Yeah, that's what I like. That's why I played it actually.
That didn't.
I hate Fallout 4, especially as DLC. Fuck that DLC,
yeah,
man.
You guys are tripping.
I like
Fallout 4 was great.
Nuka World was great.
I don't like the DLC. I know it's buildable shit. Like I don't play
But
Fallout 4 to
Blue,
play Minecraft.
But Blue, didn't you like buy the collector's edition of Fallout 76?
Ah, dude.
Like
I'm the king of buying stupid shit, but I wouldn't even buy that. Like, no.
I was gonna say, when they finally send you your bag, you can probably put your balls inside of it, because that might be where they belong.
Well, no, because there was something about. Oh no. Well, the bags weren't the bags that they said they were sending. Yeah, and then the helmets had to be recalled because they were poisonous or something. Yeah,
nobody's gotten their shit yet, and it's been over a year now.
If you're gonna buy your Fallout helmet, you should have better luck just buying the original.
Oh,
like
wow,
not the original. Sorry, like buying those fan-made helmets that people made that may be a bit more expensive, probably not really, like maybe $100, and they're a lot better quality.
The one I got with Fallout 4 Collector's Edition is actually what I'm using as my bucket.
Yeah, but I know like Pete, you like Fallout 4, that's fine, but I don't see like why Fallout 4 is like even considered that much of a game. That's I don't know.
Gunplay's fun, and there's good storylines to it, or some of the side quests. The main story, but there's.
I mean, the main story sucks.
Well, here's the thing. For one, every complaint, I think most of the complaints people had about a lot of the elements were overblown.
I hate the skill tree system.
So the skill tree system, that's the big thing, and people are like, man, Rags fucking harped on the fucking skill tree system. Oh my god, it's not an RPG anymore. Blah blah blah. It's so dumbed down. It's like, okay, you could take the exact skill tree setup they had for Fallout 4 and turn it into an actual skill tree, and it would be exactly what everybody wanted. It has all the RPG elements that the
They still had all
standard
the same perks and
exactly all the bonuses, all the everything. It was
was
just
weird,
it was
but
just
it wasn't-
simplified. Because
Yeah, it
it
was weird,
wasn't
it
like
just
an actual
wasn't-
tree. It was, each
was
skill
odd.
had just, 4 or 3 or whatever levels. And instead of the additional bonuses being, a little side shoot off the skill tree, that was just baked into the thing.
The
And
case.
you could fix that with a mod if you really wanted to. But again, it had all the elements of a real RPG's skill system. It was just simplified. And okay, fine, you don't like that it's simplified, but going as far as people did, like I said, I think it was overblown. And there were problems with the game. Yeah, the main storyline, that was not like I said, Fallout 3 with the Fallout 4's gunplay and a few other things would have been a lot better, because the way they had the Fallout 4, the main story especially, it wasn't done right.
I think the best main story Fallout has ever had. Keep in mind, I played 2 Fallout games, New Vegas and 4. I think
You've
New
only played
Vegas had
2 and
probably
you're
the
judging.
yeah. Sorry,
What was that?
I think Fallout New Vegas probably had the best story out of all the
It
Fallout
does.
games.
Oh, what was that, Jace?
Oh, I said you only played 2 Fallout games and you're judging. You gotta go play 1 and 2. 2 is amazing.
I mean,
know
I
it's
was
not
gonna
that
do-
isometric, but story-wise, so great.
I mean, if the game's interesting and keeps me interested, I don't give a fuck about isometric. Like I love some turn-based games, and I'm not even the biggest fan of turn-based combat.
The story in 2 is fantastic. You can skip tactics.
It takes a certain game type for me to enjoy tactics like that. Like it has to be like games like Disgaea, Phantom Brave, from Exceed and Smile More.
Final Fantasy 7.
Final Fantasy games, obviously. That's not even.
Final Fantasy VII's bad, guys. What do you mean?
You haven't even played it.
This uncultured swine.
Pleb. Fucking pleb. Lord, give me the strength to change the things I can.
7's the only final. Well, I guess I played 15, but those are the only 2 I played.
Really? What'd you
15's
think? What'd you
good,
think of 7?
Well, I played it when I was a kid.
You don't remember much. It was a complicated story.
It's not my thing. I'm not big into JRPGs.
Fair enough.
It's not my thing. You guys are gonna think I'm hating on Japanese creators. It's just I get confused, and I am very confused with JRPGs. I have never understood what's going on in Metal Gear games.
Wait.
I'm so
Wait.
confused.
Wait. You enjoyed the books of The Witcher.
Yeah.
You've played Elder Scrolls. You've played Fallout. You like this game that just came out that you really like.
Yeah.
And yet you're confused.
No, I'll give it to him, man. Like,
How the fuck?
JRPG.
come on, bro. The Final
Confused
Fantasy
on
VII
Japanese.
story is some of the most convoluted, confusing, complicated.
15 was probably I've like touched a couple of the other Final Fantasies, but 15 is really the only one I liked, and I know it's a lot of people hated it.
Actually, I love that game.
I liked it
liked
too.
because I'm not a fan of turn-based.
Yeah, I'm right with you there.
Not my-
I don't like
it's not my
15.
thing.
Like all that much.
Well, you've only played 2 Fallout games, so you know.
Yeah, we don't care about your opinion.
Shut the fuck up! You're not allowed to talk.
Alright, guys. Fallout 4 is great. No problems at all. 10 out of 10. Again.
Yeah, from what I played of 15 though, it was fun. The combat was really good.
Because I don't like
looks
turn-based, and
fucking
I enjoyed
amazing.
that. That was
The story was interesting enough. I mean, it wasn't
That's
anything
probably
amazing, but
only one I could follow. I kind of understood what was going on.
What's so
never
complex with the
understood.
story?
oh, dude. I mean, that's the thing.
I
I could lay out the
deep lore.
the intro, if you will, of Final Fantasy VII, and that's easy enough. But once you get past that, like, oh my god, it just starts getting into what Shinra's doing, and like the weapon. What did they call the weapons? Like the ruby. Oh, what the fuck were those? The ruby and emerald weapons, and
You're
all
talking
the
about Ruby, Emerald.
the big like mechs that kind of look
You're
like
talking-
Metal Gears.
You're talking about the fucking in 7, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Emerald is in the sea. Ruby is in the desert.
But there was a name for him though,
Yeah.
and I can't
the
remember.
name.
And then, God, the different factions and what they want and are trying to do, and oh God, it gets complicated.
I don't know. Like
it's
I
just
played
like
the
an
game so
anime, Blue.
much, Like I played the game so much that I got pretty much everything down.
Well, that's the thing. Once you get into it, like you start to get it. You can at least like remember it. But like trying to explain it to somebody
and then you
new.
find out in like some weird fucked up way, like Vincent was in love with the chick that they kidnapped and fucking dissected, and then oh,
They
dude,
were like, "What are you doing, stepbrother?"
And Kate Sith and what the fuck he is. And he was
he was a fabricated AI, right, or whatever.
something like that. Yeah, who's controlling the puppet.
He was putting
now,
chemicals in the water.
That's now because he's not a puppet, or not puppet, but like a stuffed animal that's now not a stuffed animal. They did something to him, and then there's Red 13, and then
it was also an experiment,
right?
But then you find out that there's an actual race of his kind, and he's like the last of his kind.
He's the last one, yeah. Shit, there was another character that had a super fucking complicated ass backstory too.
Vincent Valentine.
By the way, is there any like other stuff that's happened this week? Like honestly,
I'm sure there is. Go searching, dude.
Reviews are coming out for Death Stranding.
Oh yeah. And I guess
I can bring you the topics I talked about today. Death Stranding.
Hey,
it's
yeah.
gotten, not so great reviews.
Yeah, I hear the reviewers are really not liking how the beginning is all fetch questy.
The whole game.
Hey guys, let's go on a fetch quest with a baby in my bun.
Oh no.
From what I hear on all the reviews is pretty much what I kind of expected when they announced Death Stranding. Was beautiful, artistic, boring. I didn't really have high expectations for Death Stranding because they kept releasing these trailers and I'm like, okay, well, these are crazy and wild images and trailers.
We didn't even know what the game was for like at least 2 years, so
what are we actually doing here? And I love Kojima's previous games. I have fun with them. I don't ever understand what's going on with them, but I have fun with them.
the first like Metal Gear Solid 3 and 4 are pretty good.
Well, that's the thing. After the second Metal Gear, they get weird as fuck too.
Yeah, that's when like
so Metal Gear. Like I understand your confusion there. I mean, I can't make fun of you on that.
I mean, the guy that shoots
they're weird
bees.
stories, man.
Yeah.
So
They're weird. It's
And
a
if
fun
you're
ride.
into that,
they are weird. They are weird, but the end result is them trying to make pretty much a haven for all of the clones to live. And they're supposed to be like on this floating island thing. That's like the ultimate thing.
What I'm saying though is like just based off my previous experience with his games, where they're very convoluted stories, and then you watching the trailers for the last couple of years when they're showing it, and they're very like slow and dramatic, and very larger than life, but very kind of trailers.
Dude,
I was expecting something. Okay, this is going to be a big departure. It's not going to be action. I wasn't expecting fighting or any sort of really combat. It seemed like it was probably going to be slow paced, and I don't know. A lot of people got insanely hyped for it, and I mean it's Kojima, and he's a wonderful game creator, but I felt like a lot of people were just getting excited because it was Kojima.
Well, and here's the thing, right? I think here's what should have happened with Death Stranding, because like the trailer, like, oh my god, all the different shit that they had going on, it looked fucking great. But I think Kojima is not the greatest when it comes to gameplay. And I think what happened was with Metal Gear was not a pure Kojima vision, right? Metal Gear was Kojima led, but
Yeah,
with a team of people and with higher
it's
ups.
not always a one-man project.
Sure, and especially like Kojima had to please people other than himself when he was making it, because there were, you know, publishers and CEOs and all these other people. So what we got was Metal
Or
Gear.
someone like talking to him about it at least.
But with Death Stranding, it was going to be a pure Kojima vision, which for the story and the I don't want to say graphics, but like the art style and all that, that's fantastic. But when it comes to gameplay, that might not be the best move. I think what he should have done was, because like I said, you know, Metal Gear was definitely had Kojima's fingerprints, but he had to please a lot more people than himself.
Bro,
And what
Kojima is so twacked in the head when it comes to his stories. I wouldn't be surprised if Death Stranding didn't somehow work its way to the Metal Gear universe.
but what he should have done was him be the highest up, so that it could be his vision, right, in its purest form, so he didn't have to please anybody other than himself as far as that goes, but have some other people who, if not took over, at least had more of a creative input as far as gameplay goes. Because if he had gotten a few more people who knew what they were doing to preside over the gameplay aspect, I think this could have been like a masterpiece instead of I mean, you know, I haven't played it, so I obviously can't say for sure, but going off of reviews and what I've heard, and let's say it's, you know, an above average game, but definitely not as good as it could have been.
Yeah, I mean, comes down to it. We don't know. Game's not out for a few more days, so.
Unfortunately, I mean, I don't think I want to buy it on PlayStation.
No,
So
you're gonna wait till the Humble Bundle comes
I
out.
will be waiting for, but luckily it's only, I think it was supposed to be early 2020.
I don't know if I want to be interested in though in Death Stranding, because if the gameplay is just, it has a good story, but it's just fetch quest 24/7, fetch quest 24/7, then it's just, I don't know if I'm gonna be into that.
Depends on how good, because honestly, I don't give a shit about, I mean, it could be all fetch quests for, I mean, really, there's only like 3 different kinds of quests, really. You know, you can dress them up in a bunch of different ways, but, you know, it's like the different kinds of stories. There's really only like 6. So I could deal with it being nothing but fetch quests as long as the combat and that kind of stuff is fun. So if the combat is fun, then I'll be willing to put up with the boring fetch quests as long as the combat, and I know the story will be at least interesting because it's Kojima, and if nothing else, it'll be interesting. So I'll just have to see about that, and if gameplay
Suffers majorly.
well, if like the you know, streams and reviews and everything, if the gameplay doesn't look interesting, then I'll probably pass. But as long as the gameplay looks fun enough, then I'll probably just grab it when it comes out on PC.
They I don't know. I was just kind of laughing reading all the reviews because everybody's saying, "Oh yeah, you're delivering stuff and picking up stuff," and I was just thinking, okay, so they take the most hated quest type in every RPG ever, and they made a game out of it.
Yeah, so I'm sort of getting out of here. What we're talking about, to be
You know what
honest.
Death Stranding reminds me of? It reminds me of a darker version of Crazy Taxi.
What?
There you go.
Crazy Taxi. Have you never played Crazy Taxi,
Bruce
Blue?
Young.
That's in with the arcade game.
Or Dreamcast?
I've
What's
played
a
the arcade
Dreamcast?
game, but not the Dreamcast version. What you're talking about?
Well, it's the same game. It's just
I
the
think I still have a
Dreamcast was the
Dreamcast.
only one that it actually released on.
I mean, I don't think I'm missing out by playing, not like remembering Crazy Taxi too well. Go man, like
Oh, that was a great game.
Actually,
Yeah.
Crazy Taxi was great, dude. It was fun.
Great
I think that one might
fun.
Still hold up.
I remember playing the arcade,
Yeah.
losing it once, and I had to fucking put another coin there, and I was spending like shit ton of coins and that shit. Like fuck
What is this
that.
archaic system? Putting coins in. It wants my money.
Oh,
He
you
wants
don't
our
even
money.
know.
Coin.
Is that Activision?
Why
But
does it
here's
say
Did
insert
Activision
coin?
hijack this machine?
But you know what's crazy though? Some of these games that were in the arcade and you're putting coin in, some of those games, dude, believe it or not, I got more enjoyment out of playing those than I do some of the single player experiences I paid $60 for.
Oh, sure.
I think part of that
Like
too
Call of
is that
Duty?
It's kind of it was it's an event. It was an event.
Yeah.
Going
Yeah.
to the arcade, right?
Right.
You know, it's not like, okay, I'm just gonna sit home or come home, sit at my desk, and sit there and relax. It was no, you get up, you go out. And
There are
I
other
think there's
people
something to
around.
it, you know, actually getting up, getting out of the house. I know.
Oh,
it
not just
sounds
that.
like-
Like, you know, you get a good streak going and people crowd around and they start
Yeah.
cheering you on. Like, yeah, like you said, it's an actual
Every time-
event.
Every time
Yeah.
I played these three games in an arcade, I always got a crowd, and it was Raiden, Samurai Showdown, and Tekken 3. For some reason, we would play for quarters, and I would be dominating. All of a sudden, everybody motion was when this guy was calling me an asshole.
Playing fighting games with people on an arcade is definitely the better experience, because if you lose as the person you're fighting against, you can just punch them in the face in real life. So it's a double win there.
But here's the thing, though: you were playing for
Or you
quarters, or you're playing for rounds. You were gonna pay for that person's
Well, it's even
round.
better because you can teabag them in real life. It's way more satisfying. I never virtual teabag. Only do it in
Yeah,
real life.
only in real life, yeah.
Mind your manners, kids. Social etiquette. They also said Death Stranding. It's getting late. I'm tired. Is coming to PC 2020.
What is?
Death
Stranding's
Stranding.
coming to PC in
Yeah.
2020.
Oh,
coming in
boy.
2020.
Did you hear
Is it
when?
gonna be- Is it going to be a game that actually runs good?
It's gonna come to PC Epic exclusive. It's gonna be like, we're gonna be Epic exclusive.
You know what? Fuck all that shit. The only game I'm looking for that's coming to PC that I'm actually happy about is the
The what?
The what?
Elden Ring.
Oh,
You guys
that's
don't
I don't
remember the
think they
game
s-
that we watched for E3?
FromSoft.
last year? FromSoft?
I remember Elden Ring. It's being made with Martin or whatever, so it's gonna be an incomplete story. It's gonna be forgotten about in 10 years. Yeah, I know.
Wait. Did you just say
I didn't say Tolkien. I said Martin, like J.J.R. Martin was.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, you think it's gonna be an incomplete story? Why?
George,
I mean,
George R. R.
this dude-
Martin.
George hasn't even completed the Game of Thrones books. Never mind a game story.
Wait. Hold on. Are you talking again out your ass?
No, he's
I
not
would like
completed
to
the
learn how to do
books.
that.
Dude,
Listen, I'm a professional talking
go
about that.
go to Amazon and look up George R.R. Martin and all of his novels. He has completed the series. He's
He
already
has
he
not
hasn't.
completed Game
No,
of
he
Thrones.
hasn't.
Yeah, he is
when
not.
it comes to his prequel is done. His
No,
prequels
he
are
still
done.
has
Okay,
two
but the
more books
main,
coming out.
yeah, the main Game of Thrones series is not done
Yeah.
yet.
He's been working on it since '91.
Although
Yeah.
I think he didn't complete the books on purpose because
Be a dick to D&D, the writers
Well-
of the show.
nah, because this way he can wash his hands of their ending and say I had nothing to do with that shit.
So, Brad,
Bitch, this isn't Counter-Strike. Why are you shooting chickens?
Because I felt like it.
Because that's the only kills you're getting?
he wanted to watch
Oh,
his
this
hands.
guy.
He's like, all right, guys, listen. In the books, the Night King will actually have a backstory. Oh, and
Bro.
Bran won't be the king.
Bro, prequels. Have you not read any of the prequel stuff?
No, but I have no interest in Game of Thrones prequels. I hate the TV show now. So
You're a bitch.
Yeah, I don't hate the TV show.
I'm sorry.
I
Season
mean, I
8
don't hate the TV show. I just hate season 8.
No, I hate season 8 and season 7. Like those are like season 7 and season 8 are like the worst things. Like
Even
the worst
season
seasons of
7
Game of
wasn't
Thrones.
all that bad.
All I gotta
I
say,
disagree.
Blue. All I gotta say is
Disagree
if Danny being fucked over a mountaintop by a fucking
Okay.
big ass fucking dude doesn't like get your cap on that shit, you
Oh
got
yes,
issues.
yeah, I forgot. I see a sex scene. I have to like it. Sex scene.
Absolutely.
There's a sex scene, guys. I have to like it.
absolutely.
That means it's great quality, guys. Anytime you can't tell good, anytime you fuck up a storyline.
I will
just
say
show
this.
titties, man. Fix
I
it.
will say this. I did think it was kind of fucked that she's fucking her nephew.
I mean, that's the least.
You know what I mean?
I mean,
But like everybody,
incest is incest, you
know,
know.
What part of the country are you from? Because my people.
I'm saying it like this.
I
Like,
mean, they're only cousins.
A lot of people hate on anime and anime culture because incest is portrayed in a lot of the videos and comics and whatnot.
What do you mean? It's like I've never really watched any incest anime.
Oh no, there's a bunch, dude. It's a trope.
Have you not heard of Knights?
Oremo.
I mean, it's a trope.
Vampire,
but here's the thing. You don't have to watch.
Princess.
You don't have to watch.
Brother.
You don't have to watch like incest anime or whatever.
Later, Donji.
I'm not saying I'm not saying you have to. I'm saying the people that have watched anime and it portrays sexual scenes with either mother, sister, brother, cousin.
Listen, mother's a different story though.
They shit on anime in general because of it. But when it comes to our shit, like, oh, I don't know, Game of Thrones, it's okay. She's hot.
Oh, dude, it goes beyond that. Every single thing that they complain about, that people complain about anime, or say it's disgusting or weird or whatever, incest, underage characters portrayed sexually.
Bro.
Danny's 13, like in the when the Game of Thrones first started. You know that's like Mary first scene she appears in season 1.
No. In the TV show, she's like 15 or 16, but Arya is 13.
Oh,
or Sansa, excuse me, Sansa.
That was uncomfortable.
Bro, that was cringy.
No,
See,
watch.
But why though? Because that actress is, I think she's like 20 or something.
Yeah,
dude,
but
it doesn't matter. She was portrayed as a younger
Oh,
character.
I know, but this
You
is the
literally
thing
saw
though.
Her grow up.
Thank you, Jace. That's
You
exactly
literally
where
saw her grow up.
You saw
in
her
real life.
grow up from a small kid into to this like pseudo. I call her pseudo woman because, granted, yes, I know she looks younger on purpose. I get it, but when you see her grow up in this series and having her go through all those turmoils in life, right?
and then have her in a sex
And then
scene
all of a
season 8
sudden she's like, "I want to fuck your brains out." I'm like, "Okay, you know what? I can't watch this. I can't do it."
I mean, because I'll be honest, like I'm a fan service is cool. I like fan service, but like that Arya sex scene was like the worst kind of fan service I've ever seen in a show.
I agree. I honestly think
Like it was so
That
unnecessary
was-
too. It's
that
like,
was
oh,
unnecessary.
we might die by the Night King's zombie army or whatever. All right, time to
Let me sit
bang
on
the
your
shit out of
face
you,
near the
dude.
fucking forge. That sounds good, right? Like, what the fuck? No, I'm just saying, like Jay's nailed it around the head. Like, it's not the fact that she's portraying a younger girl. It's that you saw this little girl, literally a little girl,
Been lots
all
of
the
other
way up
shows.
to that point.
Lots of other shows, especially teen dramas, where you see, like 19, 20-year-old actresses who are playing somebody who's like 15, 16.
Right.
And,
Which,
you know,
that's
they're
fine.
talking in it and stuff like that. But that doesn't make you uncomfortable. Because they weren't introduced when they were literally
A child.
12, 13
10 years old.
Mhm.
Yeah. And you didn't watch them for over a decade, or
And-
for almost a decade growing up.
And like when you watch that scene, you're thinking in the back of your mind, like,
Ugh.
you literally seen this girl go through a transformation in her life, in her
It
character's
was,
life,
it
or
was
whatever.
really gross to me.
It's
all
really
honesty.
weird. It was cringy, dude. Like even Val, like me and Val were like, "Yo, like, should we skip this? This doesn't seem right. This is weird."
See, that to me illustrates I'm gonna have to think about this for a long time before, because it's like.
It didn't. You didn't mind it, Pete? Like
Oh
seeing
no
this
no!
little
Here's
girl.
I didn't
you know
even
what I mean?
watch. I didn't even watch it, dude. This is the thing. I didn't even watch it. My whole thing is every single person who watched game, and it's not even about her, because like there's a whole ton of like all of the prostitutes and stuff in the
Are all teenagers.
yeah, they're all
basically.
they're all barely legal. They're barely legal porn actresses, and they're all portraying 13 to 15-year-old girls.
I mean, Daenerys, like when Daenerys,
And-
like I know Daenerys is like in the actual story, and like and this got confirmed by the writers. Daenerys was like 14, basically,
And-
like
Bro, and
the-
you know what?
season one.
And I'll even say it now. The very beginning of the show, the very beginning. I'm talking the very beginning. Her brother strips her down and fills her up. Bro, like that was cringy. I was like, yo, she's kind of hot, but like this is really weird. Like,
I mean, you
I
could say
get
it's disgusting, but that's just what it is. It's not really like.
I know, and I know elves. I know elves being portrayed in fantasy have always been incestuous. They believe with the elven lore, and especially in D&D is like this too. Incest keeps the blood pure. I get it. It's fucking weird.
Yeah.
But I
It
get
doesn't
it.
work out well.
And the
be
seven
honest.
elves will rise again.
No, the big thing.
Jay, shut the fuck up. You're a dwarf.
The big thing with me
I'm
though
6'1", thank you.
is you get people that say if that people will say if you like lolly you're a pedophile, but then the exact
Wait,
same
what?
thing happens in Game of Thrones. Lolly, underaged, either underaged or young-looking anime girls.
I'm learning so much with you guys today.
Bro,
we're just
like-
in the
So many
culture.
new words.
yeah, you know what, dude? Lolly is not support. It's disgusting to me, but you know what? Me and Pete will always disagree on this.
But this is my thing.
You
People will
can't
say
ban drawing
if you
from
if
stuff.
you like lolly, you either are a pedophile or it's akin to pedophilia or something like that. But then the same exact shit happens in Game of Thrones, and all of a sudden, what? That's
I wasn't-
that's okay.
No,
No,
absolutely
I'm not you.
Okay,
But like,
all right.
you know, these
Most
same
people.
people will. I mean, Game of Thrones is one of the most watched TV shows ever
Of all time.
of all time, and nobody was screaming at the writers, directors, producers.
Oh.
Nobody was saying all these people watching Game of Thrones are akin to pedophiles, which
Bro,
according to
bro.
their logic, it's the exact same thing.
when
French groups mad at Game of Thrones for that.
when that last season hit and that scene came up, I was surprised when I went to Twitter and nobody said anything about it, bro. Not one person, bro. Like, I
Yeah,
was
because
like, what?
people,
Everyone was still recovering, is what it was.
everyone was still recovering because that entire
Everybody
season
still
was
had
garbage.
their head in their hands, just trying to figure out what the hell just happened.
Yeah, but season 8's
But here's
biggest
the but
problem
that's the
were
thing.
not Arya having sex. Like,
Really,
that was
I mean, as uncomfortable as it might make you, it should not make you uncomfortable at all. She's a legal adult.
That's easy for someone that hasn't watched it.
Well, but no. But I'm not talking about uncomfortable about the story or anything like that. She's a legal adult. She could do porn if she wanted.
I know, but
Yeah,
you
but it
do.
doesn't mean I
but
want
you,
to watch it.
yeah, exactly.
No,
See,
but
watch
why?
my
But
little sister.
why would the sex make you uncomfortable? I mean,
well,
that's
we
the
already said why.
Okay, well,
We
you
already
weren't
stated
actually
why.
seeing like straight up sex, and you weren't seeing like
Sure,
frontal nudity
fair
or anything
enough.
like that in that scene. It was the scene itself was incredibly cringy.
It
was
was
but that's
cringy.
not all that makes like Brimstone uncomfortable about it. He's told me, several times, like I mean, you guys just said you saw this young girl go through, basically grow up, and that's part of what made you uncomfortable. Well, okay, So you have a younger sister and she turns 18 and you learn that she started to have sex. I mean, would that make you as uncomfortable as that?
Yes, and then I would murder every single man. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, see, that,
My
I mean,
sister,
like
and
I said,
love
this
her.
is why I really need to think
Well-
about this, because to me, that shows more of a uncomfortability with sexuality in and of itself rather than...
'cause saying just because I'm uncomfortable with something doesn't mean I'm saying they can't.
Oh, no.
I'm just saying it.
No, I'm not saying that.
I don't want to know anything about it.
No,
Thank
but
you.
here's,
I don't wanna
it's-
see it.
But here's the thing.
I'll give
Were
you
you...
a counterargument to that, Pete.
So why weren't you that
Sure.
uncomfortable when you started having sex at whatever age you know, whether it was 16, 17, 8, you know?
If you,
Why
if you're a
would-
guy?
That doesn't make any sense, Pete. Like,
Wait.
how would having sex make me uncomfortable?
Then why would
Versus
your little
bragging
sister
about
having
my
sex
family.
make you uncomfortable if she's of legal age?
Because
I don't
that's
wanna know
my
about
little
it.
sister.
Why am I hearing about it?
Like, here's the
You
thing,
don't,
Pete.
you don't
Pete,
know about it. Like,
That's
Pete,
my
I-
point.
But Pete, I would not be telling my little sister or showing my
Yeah.
little sister
Do you have
that,
a
oh,
sister?
hey, your brother's banging out Val pretty good today.
Yeah,
No,
like-
but maybe you should. But maybe you should be talking to your little sister about sex.
I
Maybe
don't know
you
if
should
I
be
could.
telling
I'm
her
gonna
to.
be honest
Oh,
with you, I don't know.
I
I don't
mean,
know if I could.
I have with my brother.
maybe
You know,
avoid bad
hey
guys,
man, you need to
avoid
be.
bad
Oh,
guys.
But
man,
see, right there,
I
right
remember.
there, it's
It's
easier.
different.
It's
It is
easier.
different.
It is easier to talk to your brother about sex because it's your brother. You guys are both guy minds. You guys
and
have
thi-
probably
and
seen
this
some
is
shit.
and this is my exact point.
It's a
Why?
different beast.
No, it shouldn't be. It
because
should
the
not be.
perception, The
I mean,
perception.
it's a
If
different
my
species.
sister,
Like,
if my sisters came to me and straight up asked me questions, yeah, I would help. Doesn't mean I
Yeah.
would not be uncomfortable and I would
Right.
do anything to
It's
get
like-
I'm in
out
the
of
same
that
boat.
situation.
Exactly.
if I could.
Absolutely. Dude, if Brianna or Alex came up to me and started asking me about sexual shit, I'm not saying, Pete, that I wouldn't answer
No,
it,
I get that.
but like I would be uncomfortable.
Okay,
Yeah.
Like,
but
absolutely.
would you be the same uncomfortable as you would with your brother?
No, that's the difference.
And
And that's my point.
Because I grew up for like the first 12 years of my life in a 10 by 10 room with my little brother. It's not the same. And
It should be exactly the same. That's my point.
Should be if you were raised with that mindset. If you see, that's the difference. Like if you aren't raised with a mindset,
I came up from a very Christian home. It is not.
yeah,
It is
it's
not
the
the same.
mindset. It is the mindset.
And I think
It's
this
absolutely-
is part of the problem, and I'll tell you why. Because Japanese do not have nearly the problems with sexual deviance. All evidence to the contrary, because lolly is perfectly legal, all that shit, and yet they don't have nearly the same problems with rape, sexual assault, and especially real pedophilia that Americans do. And it gets even worse. And this goes to the point. Remember, we were talking about this a few weeks ago, where you either asked or stated or whatever, where it was, do you think that the availability of stuff like that creates more pedophiles, right?
I would say this.
I think
If
there's
you're
other factors.
If you're talking about lolly and lolly only, I don't think that creates more pedophile, right? But
I don't think lolly should be
if
banned.
putting
though,
out
like,
product that is outside of the spectrum of lolly, that is pedophilia, to sustain or to pacify those pedophiles out there so they don't actually touch real kids, you're still making a market. And that's the problem. You're making a market that's available and it's hurting actual children that are involved in those videos.
Okay. No.
That's
Oh,
what
no,
I'm
no,
looking
whoa,
at.
whoa, no, because we weren't talking about anything real.
I said outside of lolly. I didn't say lolly in general. I said lolly isn't creating, but people who were trying to justify the reasons for the videos. Not saying you did. I am saying there are people out there that are trying to justify the reason behind having black market videos with children. That was what I was trying to I was trying to make the differentials available.
Fair enough. The way I heard it was that the availability of, and let's go right to the absolute what's the word for it?
Logical conclusion.
Sure, or maximum, like
It's
the
logical. Take it's his logical conclusion.
that's no, but that's not the and then it's not worst case scenario either.
You're taking your idea to his logical conclusion.
No, that's not the right. That's not the right.
What are you trying to say then, Pete?
I'm thinking. I can't think of what I want to say. The worst case scenario, right, of non-actual child porn to lolly porn, where the kids look like they are 6, 7 to 10 or whatever, right? Like they actually look like children, not like 13 to 17, where they could be anywhere from teenagers to, because it's drawings, not real people, so the age is, they don't. It's not like a anyway. So actual lolly pornography, not just like lewd or whatever, where the characters actually look like they are children. The way I heard it is the availability of that creates a market or an incentive or something that would either encourage or create more pedophiles. Is that not... Was I right or wrong in that?
It's hard to tell, bro. Like, I mean, you know my stance on this already, so like.
Well, no, that's why I'm asking.
I'm trying. Well, that's the thing. Like, my opinion, and I know it could be wrong, but in my opinion, it could.
Okay.
It very much could.
And my counter to that, why I think it not only doesn't do that, it does the opposite. If the United States, we're not in the middle, but if the United States is, say, a baseline, right? Japan, where that stuff is the most prevalent, has the least rape, sexual assault, and pedophilia, and the places with the not just least amount of porn at all, like Middle Eastern countries, Muslim countries, and there's a couple others, but I don't remember what they are. They have them. I mean, in Middle Eastern and Muslim countries, they still have child brides and shit.
Yeah, that's disgusting. Yeah.
And that's the thing. Like, if it were at all true that the availability of that type of content created or encouraged actual pedophiles, then Japan would have the highest, and the Muslim countries would have the least.
But here's the thing, though. We're talking about two completely different markets, two completely different mindsets of people. In Japan, there's stricter rules. Like, for instance,
I mean, Japan, they would punish a teacher.
A child has to know what they want to do pretty much at the age of 2. Like that. I mean, that's a thing. Their mindsets are automatically trained to learn things in schools and whatnot at an earlier age than we are. Where our adolescence doesn't end until 10 or 11. Theirs ends at like 5, pretty much. The difference is in America, for some odd reason, we look at any law as a challenge to break. I don't know why, but we always, for some reason, Americans have this like challenge accepted fucking mindset when it comes to this kind of weird shit. Where Japan, it's like, yo, we're going to kill you. Or we're going to castrate you and make it to where you'll never have a family, right? They make it much more of a nightmarish thing if they do go into those situations. Not to mention, the differences of family values are wildly different between these two nations. Japan, it's all about honor. It's about respect in your family. It is about spending time with your family, and if you don't, you have a lot more issues. Where in America, it's not like that. The kids are pretty much left at their own devices. Adults are in the same boat. Idle hands, unfortunately, for us in America, means trouble usually. So I mean, like I said, two completely different demographics. I guarantee you, if you were to put that kind of marketing that they have in Japan over here, it'll have a worse effect than what you probably think.
Well, for one thing, we already have it.
Well, you know what I mean. Like if it was as widely available over here as
Okay, and I have a counter to that. I think, man, I can't remember. There was a European country that was run by communists. I think, was it Poland was the last one?
Right.
Was it?
Poland? I don't remember. Was Poland communist?
I can't remember, but there was one of the last countries that was communist run in Europe.
Yeah.
And while it was communist run, pornography was illegal. And sometime in I can't remember if it was 60s, 70s, whatever, the communist regime was overthrown. And when that happened, pornography, suddenly became legal. But it did become legal when the new regime took over. But even right after the communist regime fell, laws were no longer laws like that were no longer cared about, right? They were having just enough trouble with the revolution, let alone, busting people for porn or anything like that.
Right.
As soon as that change happened, rape rates dropped by 500 times. There were 500 times less rapes, and child rapes dropped by, I think it was like 3,000 times.
Right.
And all because, but in large part because pornography was suddenly available. And not only that, but if you look, and you were saying, the different cultures and all that.
Right.
But you can look at the prevalence of rape, sexual assault, and pedophilia versus the availability of pornography. And in every country where pornography is more widely available, like the correlation is, I don't know, it's not 1-to-1, obviously, but
What's the data?
I don't have the data offhand. I'd have to go searching for the actual studies that were done. But there were lots of studies done. I watched Honey Badger Radio had a long talk about this, and they had all the data, they had the sources, they were cited, they weren't just pulling numbers out of their ass. But there was a direct correlation in all countries studied, and they had a shitload of them, between availability of pornography and the prevalence of sexual assault in all its forms. And I think part of it is, like, it's, what's the, oh man.
Let me put it this way: if the U.S. can let me just say this: if the U.S. can legalize drugs, let's say the U.S. finally becomes a little bit more progressive on the drug situation, and we can see crimes fall, and we see drug busts fall as far as like serious, shit that's they're going through right now. So in other words, if someone is driving under the influence, under, say, an amphetamine of some sort, and they go in for the night and they treat it like like a normal DUI, like with alcohol and whatnot. And if they show their numbers coming down from all this shit, like they did in Poland, then I would say, fine, let's try it. Because I do understand the whole idea of banning something, right? Like, I know black markets are created based on those bans. So,
you see the drug war right now.
So if we were to alleviate those black markets and become a little more progressive on the way we handle our drug situation here in the U.S., and if we see a fall in halfway houses being used and people finally turn their lives around, and you see a drop in homelessness because of addiction. If you see all those things happen, man, you know what, Pete? I would say, fuck yeah, let's do it, dude.
I got something for that. I think it's Norway. Norway has one of the lowest amounts of problems in all its forms with heroin addiction. Right? The lowest number of overdoses, the low overdoses. There's a bunch more metrics they track, and the way Norway deals with heroin addicts, see, because the problem with what the U.S. does, right? If you're a heroin addict, you have to get your heroin illegally. But not only that, if you're caught using heroin, you lose your job, and now you're addicted to heroin. You've got no job and no money. You most likely get ostracized by your family and friends, and your life just begins a downward spiral. Whereas in Norway, they have I can't remember what they call them, but they're literally drug distribution centers where, as often as you want, obviously up to you can't just keep coming in every 10 minutes, but you can go in as often as you want, and they will give you as much as you want, up to the amount that they won't give you an amount that'll give you an overdose, but they will, give you as much as you can, as they've determined that, a person can handle, and they will help you get a job and incentivize employers to hire you.
Right, that would be good.
And it's completely, not only do they have less heroin addicts, they have no overdose problems, they have no crime related to heroin. Like, they've completely dissolved all of the problems related to heroin addiction. Obviously, they still have addicts, because you never get rid of addiction. But they've completely gotten rid of all the problems associated with heroin addiction. Because instead of punishing somebody for being addicted to heroin, they help them through their addiction to heroin. And I think it's the same thing with regards to sexual crimes in all their forms, because it's like, I'm trying to, there's a, like, one of the big reasons why somebody becomes rapist or, I mean, it's the Catholic schoolgirl phenomenon, right?
Right.
Oh, Jesus.
I'm telling you, right?
No, that's a real thing. It's a real thing. It's actually a real thing. It's not just Catholic. It's Christian. It's almost
sure. Yeah. It's repression of anything, and that's the thing. The more you try to repress something, the more, like, people can repress it, but the problem is that it will end up coming out one way or another, and the way it ends up coming out when it's being repressed like that is usually the most extreme and most unhealthy, both for that person and often for the people around them, as because in the case of a rapist, they're repressing something sexual because it's deemed as deviant or wrong or whatever.
I mean, because it is, but anyways.
Well, but yeah, some of it is, sure, right? Yeah, pedophilia is wrong, right? But it's not just that, right? You get somebody who, I don't know what's a sexual deviancy that's still looked at as, like, wrong, but it's it's not pedophilia or rape or something like that. Like, I'm trying to just think of a good example. of course,
Well, here's the thing. Like, San Francisco, if I remember correctly, is already trying the drug situation out with distribution houses. And if I remember correctly, your neck of the woods are going to be pushing that soon. And the crazy thing right now is San Francisco is having a very, very weird issue about this. It's not going the way that we thought it would in San Francisco. Like I say, it could be the state and the situation. Who knows? But they're shitting on the streets. They are breaking into people's homes. They are still stealing people's mail. I mean, San Francisco has gotten to a point where they leave food out for these people to leave their shit alone. Like, it's crazy to think about, but that's what's happening.
That's the almost phenomenon, though.
So, like, if we want these programs to work, we got to change the mindset of what's going on today. So that, I mean,
well, not just that.
The only way it's going to happen is if we start passing laws that nobody wants. I hate to say it.
I don't even think it would take that, because, like I said, with the program in Norway, it's not. That's the thing. It's not just the distribution center, right? It's a whole network of stuff.
Culturally, Norway is different, though, completely compared to
Fine,
the US.
fair enough. But you know, the program
itself. I say fair enough about, because culturally, culture does matter in that type of situation. Like, every really
not
does,
okay,
like,
but not yes and no, because that, like I said, the distribution part, that's just one tiny part of the equation. See, like I said, addiction in rats, right? They've done lots of addiction studies in rats.
And sugar was the number one.
Oh no! I'm not even. That's not even.
No, I know. I was just.
Oh, okay.
I'm an asshole.
So, if you give a rat a cocaine dispensary button, right, and that rat is alone, isolated, and stuck in a cage by itself, it will push that cocaine button until it dies. It won't eat food. It won't do anything. It'll just keep. Or the water. They'll have two things of water, one with cocaine in it and one without. And the rat will ignore everything else and just keep drinking that cocaine water until it dies, right? But if you put rats in what they call rat utopia, which is a big open area with a bunch of toys to play with and activities to do with a whole bunch of other rats with them, and you do the same thing, the rats they might try the cocaine water, but after that they just ignore it. They drink the regular water and they just go and do a bunch of rat stuff. They play with their rat friends. They run on the little wheel. They do all that kind of stuff, and they don't get addicted to the cocaine or heroin or whatever else you give them. And that it illustrates a very interesting thing about addiction, in that it's not so much about the substance. Sure, you get addicted to the substance, but the big thing about the addiction is when you're isolated from other people. And so just putting the distribution houses out, or distribution facilities out there, is exactly the wrong way to go about it, because that just, if they're, say, a homeless person, or even if they're a fairly normal citizen, right? They go to the distribution center. Well, your employer can still fire you for testing positive to heroin, and then you can still lose your place to live because you don't have any money. So, like I said, the way Norway does it is they have housing set up for these people, and they incentivize employers. Like, obviously, they can't go to work high or whatever, but as long as they follow the rules, their employer is incentivized to keep them employed there, so that other than their addiction to heroin, they're living a normal life. And that's what gets them off of being addicted to heroin, because they're like the rats in the rat utopia. They're still working a job.
They're socializing.
Exactly. They've got a place to live. They're not out on the street. You know, and so
what
that's
has to do with Lolly.
well, like I said, it all comes down to repression and how we deal with these kinds of things. Because right now, our strategy for dealing with heroin addiction or pedophilia or any of that stuff is repression, and that's never, ever, ever going to work because it doesn't. All it does is destroy the life of the person who's addicted to heroin or who's a pedophile or, you know, whatever. Like I said, there's so many things that this model works with. And it's a shame because it's not going to help anybody. It doesn't help the victims. You know, if it's a pedophile, it doesn't help their victims. If it's a heroin addict, it doesn't help the people that he steals from or whatever.
But the fucked up part is, like, those two mental disabilities are completely polar opposites of each other, where a drug addict is usually isolated. Pedophilia is pretty much could be a brother, a sister. It's usually a family-oriented person, and it's also someone that's around people a lot. They're not
Right.
isolated. You
But
know what I mean? That's the weird part. That's the weird part about it.
Sure, but the repression for the pedophilia is way more. I mean, there is currently no way to get help as a pedophile without.
You can't really get help though.
Yeah, well, one, there is no help for somebody who's a pedophile unless you've actually committed a crime. Because
no, like there's no help for it because like they've looked at it like scientifically. Like there's no like, oh, you go through this or that.
well, no, not help in being cured, but help in not offending.
And see, like, and I'm biased on that. Like, to me, the help would be a bullet to the head. That's just me.
And
You know
see,
what I mean?
that's not a solution, though.
I know it's not a solution. I just said it.
Yeah.
I'm an asshole in that sense because of my experiences in life. I'm the kind of person that would just rather be like, "Oh yeah, you are. Here's a gun." You know what I mean? I'm heartless. I'm heartless when it comes to that stuff. You know that. So, but when it comes to actual trying to help these people, I mean, is there help for these people?
Well, like I said, help. Well,
I mean?
we don't know. See, here's the big irony is that a lot of the research into what makes a lot of the research into what could possibly cure a pedophile has been completely shut down because of the LGBT lobby, and not completely separate from whether the LGBT lobby is trying to add in pedophilia or not. We're not even talking about that.
Right.
But any research into curing any sort of deviant sexual predilection has been shut down and vilified because, well, for two reasons. Two kind of similar reasons. One is they will claim that it's nothing more than a rehash of conversion therapy and say that people are just trying to cure gay people. But that's the thing. That's the thing.
Yeah.
It's, in some sense, pedophilia is no different than being gay or straight or, whatever, because it's an immutable attraction based on whether it's biology or... that's the thing. We don't even know. We don't know how much of sexual predilection is biology and how much of it is socialized, because the LGBT lobby won't let us do research into it because they don't want... If they allow the research to go ahead and it turns out that, say, being gay is in a large part due to socialization or experiences when you're a child, then they've just given carte blanche for anybody, but say the conservative
Right.
Christians, to say, well, see, there you go. We could have conversion therapy for gay people, and whether or not it would be used for, it might not even be that it would be forced on anybody, but they might just say, hey, we should offer this to any gay person who might, because they might not want to be gay. I could, Milo Yiannopoulos goes into this all the time when who's that? Sally Cohn. Sally Cohn made the tweet that she wants her daughter to be gay just like her. And Milo Yiannopoulos had a good point about her. He said that is some narcissistic bullshit, because not that there's anything wrong with being gay, but
not having the choice.
Well, but here's the thing, right? If you're gay, you cannot have a child with the person you love through natural means. That's a big deal. Like, that's major life-altering big deal. I mean, people think it's a big deal when they find out that they're sterile. And it's basically no different than that. I mean, if you're gay or lesbian, you can't have a child with the person you love through natural means. I mean, and unless you go... do they have... do we have the technology for, could they take... an egg from one woman and take the DNA from another woman and combine them and make, I don't think we do.
They're working on it though.
They're working on it, but we still don't even have that.
Stem cell.
Right.
That's not gonna happen. But there is for gay people, there is they combine the two guys in and but it still needs a woman
Yeah, it's still not the same as. I mean, even not considering the pregnancy and all that, even just considering combining two people's DNA to create a child, it's still not the same as a regular heterosexual couple. And I mean, that's major life altering shit. And Milo said, to want your child to be saddled with that kind of a burden simply because your narcissism makes you want your child to be just like you. That's kind of cruel. And so I could easily see that if it were found out that a large part of being gay or, whatever was socialization, and that there could be a method for, whatever it is, whether it's a chemical or whether it's, a therapy or whatever, to reverse that and change their predilection back to straight. I could easily see gay people maybe selling them. I mean, and even not without the child thing. I mean, you're limiting yourself to a tiny fraction of, what the highest estimates of LGBT is something like on the 2 to 3% range. So instead of having a potential of 50% of the human population as a mate, you're down to 3%. That's serious business. But we can't even ask those questions because the LGBT lobby considers it all to be homophobia, and it's nothing but Christians trying to pray the gay away and shit like that. And
it's hilarious when I say pray the gay.
And it's bleeding into other aspects of that kind of research. Like I said, anything to do with pedophilia is stymied. I mean, not just because of the social stigma and all that, but in large part because the LGBT lobby does not want anything to come out that shows that sexual predilection is anything other than a strictly biological and immutable characteristic.
Jace looks like he is so involved right now.
Sorry, man. I just don't have much to say on this.
No, it's cool, man. You can leave whenever you want, partner.
Gotcha.
Like I said, man, it's Game Talk. We cover everything here.
No, before we move on to something else, I just want to mention Pete's arguing, talking about the whole sister thing. I mean, if I had a sister, hypothetically, I would be fine if they were like doing their own thing when they were an adult. But does that mean I want to be involved in that or like want to know about it? No.
But would you feel the same way about your brother? And that was one of my whole.
I wouldn't be one. I wouldn't. I don't want to be involved in my brother's like sex life. No.
Would you be so opposed to it though?
I don't want to. I don't want. I don't want my brother going to be. Yo, dude, I had a.
Can you imagine a conversation with
your
your brother? Like, bro, I banged this chick out last night. She was so hot. Her name is Amy.
Or here's a better.
I think she was your ex.
I'd be like, bro, you need to talk to your wife.
Here's a better comparison, right? The RESX scene, right? If that had been a boy character instead,
yes, it would be just as cringy. Yes.
Yeah,
really?
You watch them grow up.
Yep.
100%.
I mean, if you watch Brand,
right there
like,
with Jace.
if Brandon loses legs and was able to, and that happened in like season 8, and like Brand got laid, that'd still be fucking weird as hell.
I don't think you would, because I mean,
I'm very consistent on this. Like I'm against like the whole like
you could watch your friends grow. You know, you could have a friend that's several years younger than you. You know, you're 17.
Yeah, doesn't mean I want to watch it.
Doesn't mean I want to watch them fuck.
No. But I'm not talking about watching, right? You have a friend. You're 17. You have a friend that's 13, and by the time you're 20 or 21, they're 18, and you know they start talking. Hey, bro, I nailed this chick the other night. You know, it was great, and we did anal or whatever. I don't think you'd be nearly as put off as if it was if it was a 13-year-old girl who was a friend who, you know, by the time she was 17, 18, when you were 20-something, was doing the same thing.
Both, because as much as like I make sex jokes, I really don't want to know about anybody's love life, no matter.
Like Jace, you're not gonna believe the shit that I did last night. Reverse with one leg and a fucking corn dog, bro. Like it is amazing.
But even that in itself is a sign of the repression that we have in our society about sex.
I mean, I just don't want to know.
Repressed, not wanting to know somebody else's intimate details. I don't think that's.
I feel like the intimate details should be in between the two people involved than like an outsider. If that makes sense.
It's just another facet of life.
I mean, yeah, obviously, it's just a facet of life. Like, for example, does like my brother my brother's like, do I want to know about their sex life? No, not really. Like, none.
But you'll happily tell me about your foot fetish.
Oh, here we go.
No.
Hey,
all right,
seriously.
Because you fucking asked, you dog.
No, you were the one that brought it up. How would we even know if you hadn't have told us?
You asked. All right. This
what? I asked if you were in defeat. No, sir, I did not. No, sir, I did not. I don't know how it came up, but you had to have brought it up because I wouldn't have even known to ask.
Jace is like, this is some shit that I don't really need to know right now, guys.
All right, I think we should slowly just turn this car around before like it crashed into like school or some shit like that.
But that's the thing. I mean, what you told us all? You've told us all about that.
Blue, the big toe or the pinky?
Yeah, I say we turn this car around.
Hey, Blue, does lotion or scented lotion help?
No, can we not talk about this, please?
I heard lavender's a good smell.
Mm.
I felt like if you see me right now, I actually felt like my soul just left my body. Like my soul is currently on my body right now.
Hey, Pete, when are you gonna start getting better at Call of Duty, bro?
When I'm not talking with you guys about important semi-important shit.
No, it's important stuff. It is.
Some of it is, some of it isn't. You know, let's not kid ourselves here.
The real answer is never, but regardless of that.
Yeah, Pete, Blue was telling me, like, you're dog shit at Destiny, bro.
Yeah.
Is that true?
We'll have to see.
Call of Duty.
We'll have to see.
Bro, I was just seeing if I can get him to go in on Blue right now, because I know the other day they were hard. That was funny.
I'd love a round 2 with Blue after I've had a little practice.
Wait, did Blue kick your ass?
Yeah.
Well,
twice.
yeah, when he was using Recluse, he stopped
And
me.
it's-
But when he
it's
switched
strong
to Ace of Spades, he beat me by 2.
Guarantee I could still beat you by 2.
But
or
he
more.
beat you, right?
Yeah, but come on, he plays how much more has he played Destiny than me? Jesus Christ, this guy's got to have like 10,000 hours into Destiny by now. That's all he fucking plays.
True.
What's the last game you played? When and what was the last game you played, Blue?
Code Vein before
I
Shadow
was
King
just,
came out.
I was just gonna say Code Vein.
Yeah,
Code
and
Vein was his last game,
how
I
many
know that.
hours did you put into that?
18 hours because it literally came out the week.
And how
it
many?
literally came out
What's
the weekend Shadow King came out.
what's your
so
hour count in Destiny 2 on Steam?
on Steam? It's 300 hours. pretty sure.
300 hours. When did that game launch
I
on
gotta catch up
Steam?
to you.
I don't know,
Yeah,
October.
October. How?
Like the first or second.
We are just now into It's 1 month, sir. 1 month, and you have put 300 hours into the game in one
Don't let
month.
them make you feel bad, Blue. I'm at 232. It's okay.
Well, I'm not
I mean,
saying it's not
also,
okay,
If we're
but that's
if we're counting Battle.net, I have 2,000.
well, yeah,
hours, 2,000
that's
including
yeah,
Battle.net.
but I
Yeah.
To be, I will never shame anybody for their gaming hours in the game because my ass has
Also,
literally
Warframe, I have
decades.
903 hours.
I
so
have decades dedicated to Diablo 2, and about 4,000 to 5,000 hours into Diablo 3. So hey,
but still 1 month. 300 that's 30 days. That's 10 hours a day, sir.
hey, come on, Blue, that shit's weak. I got
No, that's
fucking
over,
300
'cause you-
hours. I got 300 hours in just my Bastion gameplay on Overwatch.
He was over 300 hours, so that's more than 10 hours a day.
well, shit happens.
This is what it looks like when you don't have a girlfriend.
Right?
I mean, yes, I'm currently single right now.
Well, obviously, you put 300 hours in 1 month.
I'm fucking with you, Blue. I'm just fucking with you, dude.
I mean, if we're asking about that, I'm not in the relationship search mode. I'm not in like search mode right now, so and I don't really care to at the moment. I'm not Riot who freaks out when you get so.
Why do you gotta bring up our boy like that, man? That's fucked up. Why do you gotta name drop our dude like that, bro? Come on. It's
Sorry,
right.
I had to shoot him dead there.
It's okay.
Damn, 300 hours in 1 month, dude. That's insane.
I mean, to be fair, I have almost 1,000 hours in Warframe, but that's when Warframe actually had content and it was good, not dog shit
Bro.
like it is now.
Wait, what do you mean like dog shit? Like what's it like now?
I mean, there's no new content. It hasn't been any new content. They've just been adding Prime Warframes, and it's just like, where's any new content, guys? Please.
Huh.
And
I
they
think
keep adding
they
this
had
mediocre
something
stuff.
announced. Didn't
Yeah, I thought there was something
2 months
coming
ago,
pretty.
I thought they had a big announcement.
I mean, I hope there is. I hope there's some form of new content,
I'm
but
pretty
right now
sure
there
you
isn't.
Google something. I'm sure you'll.
Be right
I'm
back.
pretty sure there is. I think like 2 months ago they had a big announcement about upcoming content.
Yeah,
And I don't play Warframe, but I have some friends who do. And they were really excited about it. Seemed like more so than anything else.
I love Warframe, so I'll be glad of some new content.
Can't get into
Shit.
Warframe.
Really? Too much
Yeah.
Destiny?
If it really, if it comes down to it, like if I'm gonna play a game like that, I'm gonna play Destiny. That's where my heart's at.
Warframe is
Something
a
like Warframe.
very
It's just-
unique play style. I
Yeah,
really
I just
like
don't have as
the.
much fun with the gameplay
Sure.
as much.
Yeah, fair enough.
I mean, I see the new Warframe updates, like Warframe Old Blood, whatever. I'll probably check it out, but honestly, I don't
come
expect
on.
it to be that good.
Oh, I thought there was a lot of big stuff in it.
I hope there is. I don't know. I just found that
Not
out
like
just
you'll
now.
play it.
My streamer buddies were really excited about it. I don't know. I don't know enough about the game to listed out.
I mean, I'll get back into the game eventually. It's not like I'm missing out, to be honest.
Yeah, eventually is a lovely time of year.
I mean, I switch between the two games. I'll probably get 1,000 hours into Destiny before I actually get 1,000 hours into like Warframe.
And how
Okay,
much?
so I know this company is controversial, especially with Blue. But I want to ask about this game that I saw that I'm really interested in. Epic launched a free-to-play recently called Cycle. It looks fucking sick.
No, no,
It's a-
and no, and no.
Shut up, Blue. I already know you. It is a PvP, PvE VR.
Oh, the cycle?
Yeah. Is it
Yeah, I
good?
played that. Yeah. Yeah, I like it.
All right.
It's been out for a while. It's free to play right now.
Wait, it's a PvP.
Yeah, I know.
It's a PvP what?
It's a PvP, PvE battle royale.
Yeah, it's a good squad game.
It looks like fun.
Because
I mean,
it's up to you if you want to go like straight hunting other crews, you can do that. If you just want to do objectives, you can do that and just only do the PvE stuff. I like it. It's very open ended. There's upgrades to your character and your class and in between matches and stuff that carries forward.
We're gonna have to run that sometime, bro, because like you
Yeah,
and me
I've
are the only
still got
ones
it
that'll.
installed.
Yeah, I just downloaded it, so.
unfortunately, there's one big problem with it though.
What?
It's on
It's
Epic.
Epic Games.
It is
It's
on
Epic
Epic
Games. I'm anti-Epic in every sense of the word now. Like, I've truly become anti-Epic. Like, I used to kind of be alright with them with Fortnite, but now I just hate them.
Weren't you playing Fortnite for a while?
I mean, I kind of play, but that's because like GoGet and them are playing it, and it's just like when all your friends are playing something, you're kind of forced to play it sometimes.
So like, if we were to all play Cycle,
Oh no, not anymore though. I don't give a fuck about that. I don't
Man,
give a fuck about playing with the current collective. Like, if I gave a fuck about that, I would have bought Call of Duty by now.
Well, the jury's still out on that one.
I mean, if someone
You
buys
might-
it for me.
I think
I
you
might
might still play it.
I mean, if my mom bought me the game, I probably would play it. Or if any of my brothers bought it for me, I wouldn't mind playing it. But
how about this, Blue? I will buy you Call of Duty.
all right, I like how it's going.
If you pre-order Diablo 4 for me, boom.
I'm sorry, I have to spend money in this equation, so no.
Bitch!
Unless it's a complete
Do you-
100% win for me.
Do you not know the equivalency of exchange, sir?
The equivalent exchange is bullshit. Don't even get at me, dog. There's nothing worth more than a human soul, so, or equivalent to a human soul. So I already know this trifecta you're gonna try to throw at me. No, Brim.
I wasn't talking about a soul, dog.
Well,
I'm not-
see,
I'm
that's
not
the thing.
trying-
You're making a Full
I'm
Metal
not
Alchemist
trying-
reference.
I am
go
not
through
trying
it.
to make
Whatever.
a golem, bro. I'm not making a golem. I'm not making a fucking what do they call those things that are the dog with the little girl.
Chimera.
A chimera. I'm not making a chimera. I couldn't remember the name, bitch. Shut up.
I'd have to see if Epic's updated. Or if Cycle. I haven't opened Epic in so long.
I mean, I don't know why you would.
It's just such a shame that Epic's
Portland's there.
used to make some of the best like Unreal Tournaments were some of my most favorite games of all time. And because it's not just the Epic Game Store and its bullshit and the exclusivity and stuff. Like, most people have forgotten, but the CEO or whatever of Epic has
Tim
said
Sweeney's a cunt, yeah.
yeah,
Of
he said
course.
some fucking heinous ass shit about PC. I mean, he abandoned PC gaming and called us all pirates and something else. And then once, so I can't remember what the game was that started doing really well before Fortnite. That convinced him to start putting games out on the PC again. But then it figures out that, oh yeah, there's money in PC gaming. Actually, we're not all pirates. And then he tries to come back and make buddy with us and say that it's good. It's good for PC gaming. The Epic Store is good for PC gaming.
Said no one ever.
Like, don't piss on us and tell us the rain is good for gaming, bro.
I mean, that's why I kind of hope Epic just dies. But I'm more harsh on the Epic Store than anyone else. Like, if
Especially
Epic
because the
just
latest,
had business tomorrow, I would not like shed a tear, if that makes sense.
especially because the latest Unreal Tournament was just such a fucking pile of garbage, man. It ran worse than Counter-Strike.
I didn't think it was that bad.
Oh, it was clunky as hell, man. It was not like the best part about all the way up till Unreal Tournament Black, and I think there was one more after that. Those things were butter smooth, man. They were fast and they were smooth and they played so well. And the new free to play one, man, just it felt wrong. Seriously? I was.
Is it just me, or is Brem's video all distorted?
Is it?
On the stream or on
No, on
Discord? Oh, it's perfectly clear to me.
Oh. Look like a bad TV set on there. Oh, there you go.
He's flickering every once in a while, like I am, because Discord is.
Oh yeah, I was getting like bad signal, multicolor pixelation. Wow.
Yeah. Is there any other topics for tonight, or is that it, really?
There were a couple others. There's the Blizzard stuff.
We just talked about Blizzard.
No.
We'll talk about that at
Is
the
there
start.
more? Is there more Blizzard stuff?
There are at BlizzCon.
Oh, you're
The
talking about
protester
the
thing?
protesters.
Yeah, so there was a huge amount of protesters outside BlizzCon handing out free shirts and cosplaying as Winnie the Pooh. Free shirts saying "Free Hong Kong" and all that. And then the CEO of Blizzard came out and basically apologized and said they did a bunch of things wrong and that they were not going to be kicking anybody out who was wearing a Free Hong Kong t-shirt or Winnie the Pooh cosplay. Which, I don't know, for some people that might be too little too late, but at least it's something. So that was quite interesting.
Like I said before, it's a good step in the right direction. Is it late? Yeah, but at least they're realizing their fuck ups, right?
Like I said, some people it might be too little too late, but at least it is something. So, take it for what it's worth.
First thing they should have done was fire their dumbass PR team.
Right?
Yeah, I would say just fire. Did Blizzard fire their entire PR team? Because I'm thinking the best idea.
They
Just
should
fire
have
them
if
all.
they didn't yet. Yeah, they should have if they didn't yet.
That's the first time Activision would actually be useful in firing people.
Right.
Because it's just dumbasses on both sides. Like,
What's up,
people
Levon?
were sitting there protesting about it. Okay, the whole reason why Blizzard shut it down is not. I don't believe for 1 second it's politically driven. Like, they're in China's pocket, but they handled that incredibly poorly. Instead of coming out and saying, "Hey, well, yeah, we are concerned about political or any sort of political statements while you're on screen time at our funded event," is because we're concerned about the repercussions of the Chinese government with our player base over there. That would have been a lot better than how they handle it. It was poorly handled.
It was yeah. Well, and see, and that's what I was telling these guys too. Was like I wasn't I'm not really 100% sure if them being in someone's pocket was the case.
I don't think that's what it is. They
I don't
I
think they
think-
were like with the
because-
Chinese government, like a smoke-filled room or something like that. No, I wouldn't say that.
but they have a large player base in China, and if all of a sudden they start coming out and with this anti-China shit, like yeah, that does affect their business interests. There's no way it doesn't, and it affects the players over there too, because then all of a sudden, like their product is now banned. They can't play, Overwatch, Hearthstone, whatever.
Yeah.
Well, my big thing is, I'm not specifically Blizzard either, but plenty of companies have already shown that they will bend the knee to Chinese censorship, and that censorship will cross the ocean, so to speak, and end up here as well.
Right.
And I have a huge problem with that. So that's one big thing. Another thing is, like, and I have a huge problem with so Tracer being gay. All right, fair enough. People say that was already decided way long ago. I don't know whether it is or isn't, and the only people who do know are insiders at Blizzard. So let's just assume it was. But Soldier, that was straight up pandering.
How do you go from China to that though?
So
That's quite the jump.
no. So Blizzard rolls out with
Real quick,
Soldier.
before you finish, I'm gonna go to bed. You
All right.
guys, I'm going to bed.
Later,
Night,
bro.
everyone.
Later, but
So China. So Blizzard rolls out with Soldier 76 being gay to completely pander to the LGBT community, and they, do all sorts of, pride, and we support, gay and this, that, and the other. Well, in China, characters cannot be gay. It is not allowed for you to have gay characters in I think it's any media whatsoever, but certainly in video games. So in the Chinese version of Overwatch, both Tracer and Soldier 76 are straight. And it is extremely hypocritical for Blizzard to...
Yeah, how is that in the Chinese version though? There's no story, there's no indication. Everything on that outside of that is just news press statements.
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, like they never. There's no story in Overwatch like presented in the game. So how is there a Chinese version where they're straight outside of like a news press statement?
Well, like the comics and shit. The comic strips that Blizzard released. That there was the one with Tracer where it shoot. It was the one with Tracer where it had her and her girlfriend, and then I can't remember what the Soldier 76 one was. But I'm pretty sure those were released, or comic strips were released in China, just like they were in the United States. But those were either omitted or altered to comply with Chinese censorship laws. And it's like, I don't even care about any of this, except that it just shows that all of it was corporate pandering to whatever. In the case of the U.S., it was to LGBT, and in the case of China, it's to the Chinese government. And it's all for, you know, cash, basically. And it's really irritating to see companies. Oh, God damn it. Try to make like there's some social paragon or, you know, some what's the right word?
Allied cluster strike inbound. Danger close. Enemy at the tram station.
Man, I cannot think of the right word. Like they act, like they tweet and they act like there's some progressive civil rights heroes for championing the LGBT community, but have no problem with letting that message be censored in a company that's actually being repressive to their people.
Well, that's nothing new, man. That's business.
Oh, I know, but it's just
That's
irritating.
gone on whatever the social trend is. That's how it's been for decades.
I know, but it's just irritating, and it pisses me off.
Yeah, but that it comes down to it's what good business practices are. You know,
Well,
it's the same thing with when black civil rights were going on. You saw a lot of companies doing the same thing, incorporating more black people in it. Or when cigarettes first started coming out, or the anti-smoking stuff started coming out, like you started seeing a lot of companies crack down hard on that. And it wasn't just in general, it would depend on the area. Like anti-smoking stuff, you wouldn't see the crackdown down in the South because that's where a lot of their main exports is tobacco. That's just always how it is, how it's been. It's just marketing.
Yeah, but
And I mean, what would you rather them do? Like,
not involve themselves in it at all. I would like it a lot more if companies would not involve themselves in political, affiliations or causes or any of that at all. Because it always ends up, it doesn't matter what the cause is, it always ends up something like this. Where, they front or espouse one political or social cause one day, and the next day when it's, when the cash is going the other way, it's a different cause. And I wish people wouldn't fall for it. Like that's what really irritates me.
Friendly care package inbound.
Because like you said, that this shit's been going on since the beginning of time, and you were absolutely.
it's not gonna. That's not something that's gonna change. All that happens is sometimes companies will get caught doing it with contrasting advertising, but then they act ashamed and continue on to various degrees. But all businesses do that to a certain degree.
Well, not all. There's plenty of businesses that don't involve themselves in politics. And I wish more companies would take their cues from those companies. Because it never ends. It doesn't matter what, like I said, it doesn't matter what cause it is. It doesn't matter what side it is. It never ends well. Because, at the very least, you end up pissing off a lot of your customers, because you'll go for a political cause that they disagree with or whatever, and at the most, you end up pissing everybody off because, like, you know, you get caught playing both sides, or, you know, or changing with the political or the cash wins, so to speak. Yeah. But what are you gonna do?
True.
May sound apathetic, but it doesn't affect me, so I don't care.
Enemy UAV online.
Yeah. To each his own. That's what it comes down to.
I mean, depends what you mean by effect, because I just don't like pandering especially in my media.
Mission time critical. Get
You
it
know,
done.
video games, movies, TV, whatever. If I read comic books, you know, but I don't. Any of it. Pandering is really annoying, and I wish they would just stay out of it.
Enemy UAV online.
Right.
But, so Deadspin and Kotaku are in big trouble.
Time's almost up.
Deadspin, there was 10 people, I think, working there, and every single one of them has either been laid off, fired for insubordination, or has quit.
Allied cluster strike inbound. Danger close.
And it's looking like Kotaku is going the same way very soon. Oops. So that's going to be interesting to see what happens with.
Well, we'll see.
No real loss there, because I hate Kotaku with a passion that cannot be adequately described.
I could talk around by a bunch of prepubescent teens, man. That's what it comes down to.
This was an interesting one. Somebody found some code in YouTube. Yeah, I'm just going to stop that. We're going to be stopping pretty soon anyway. Somebody found some code in YouTube that revealed the internal metrics for throttling. There's a couple things. There's P-score, preference score, which, let's see, According to YouTube, the P-score is designed to surface the most engaging and brand-appropriate content on YouTube for Google's preferred advertisers. Then there was a leaked content label rating, which had a 6-tier age rating system. Y was super safe, G was extremely friendly, PG was family friendly, teen was sometimes family friendly, mature was rarely family friendly, and X was age restricted by default, never monetized.
Huh.
There was a throttled rating, where there was 2 types of ratings: brand safety throttling, which appears to limit ads on the video, and feature video throttling, which appears to limit video distribution in the algorithm. And right after these were discovered, and some of the scores and algorithms and metrics used and what's the word? And used and allocated for these systems, YouTube completely changed all the code surrounding it and hid them all.
Really?
Yeah. So like they got a list of P scores. So the Late Show with Stephen Colbert has a P score of 1,047.9. Late Night with Seth Meyers, 1,046.9. Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon, 1,039. Daily Show with Trevor Noah, 1,027. Jimmy Kimmel, 1,022. CBC, Fox News, Linus Tech Tips, BBC, Will Smith, CNN, they're all at about 1,000. PewDiePie is at 994. So right there, it's like PewDiePie is less than all of those,
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
right? I mean, the number 2, 1, 2, 3, the Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon, he's got 22.5 million, and Jimmy Kimmel's got 15.5 million. But Stephen Colbert, he's got 6.8 mil. Seth Meyers has 3.2. Trevor Noah's got 5.6. CBC's got 1.5. Fox News has 3 and a little over a half. Linus has 9.5. BBC has 5. Will Smith has 7. CNN has 7. And here's PewDiePie with 102. More than basically 25, 60, 70, almost more than all of those combined. And yet he's lower on the list. And then again, you go down another couple spots. 5 Minute Crafts has 61 million. And he's another several spots down. And farther down to like number 20 something, Brightside has 31 million. And they're below people with 5, 6, 2. WWE has 50 million. And they're all the way at spot 27. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not Joe Rogan's actual channel. JRE Clips is at 29, but it's only the Clips one. That only has 3.1 million subscribers. Yeah. Results were reflective of what we've been seeing on YouTube for some time. Corporate brands, Hollywood stores, and authoritative sources dominate, while the independent YouTubers that helped grow the site are much lower on the list. Just one actual YouTuber, Linus Tech Tips, made it on the list of top 10 P scores.
Huh. That's just like Linus has always been brand friendly though.
Yeah. And he's probably
huge brand friendly.
And that's probably the only reason why he's in the top 10. The leaked metrics surfaced around October 8 and were visible in the code until October 29th, when YouTube quietly changed the code and scrubbed these metrics. Before YouTube removed the metrics from the code, YouTubers Bo Blacks, Nicolars Diorio, Optimish, and Josh Pescatore managed to do a deep dive on this code and analyze how they affected over 200 channels. Not only do their findings suggest that YouTube is using various proprietary internal metrics to suppress YouTubers, but they also show that corporate brands, Hollywood stars, and YouTube's so-called authoritative sources are often given preferential ratings. So, yeah, more YouTube fuckery.
Well, I mean, I've been sort of making this slow move to Storyfire, so hopefully those guys are on the up and up, because it seems like they're posting all of new creators' content. I'm not sure if you heard of them, Jace, but like Storyfire is a new video website that has been growing pretty fast.
Mm-hmm.
And they put all new creators on the front page, so that might be something you could be interested in. Get more eyes on your stuff, man. I'm looking at starting a channel on there for my stuff. I'm going to launch the vape game on there, see how it does.
Do they do auto migration for YouTube stuff?
I think they do. They might. Not 100% sure.
We might just set it up with
I was thinking about doing Game Talk
Game
over
Talk
there.
and just have it auto migrate the stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
And they're very open on the content too, so that's a cool thing. Like our content, isn't really gonna get any views here. Like not like it used to. So I've thought about this. I've thought about going over to Storyfire and checking it out, upload a few videos, see how they do, because they also have an algorithm, but it's not based on the same principles that Google does. It's based on new to oldest. So if Jace was to upload a video like right now, his shit would be on the front page. And they do this for all new creators. So, and they also have their own like blockchain thing where like people can donate. I'm not quite sure how it works. Really, it's sort of like I don't know Twitch biddies or
D-Live.
Mixer or D-Live stuff. Yeah, and you could actually convert what they give you to money. So that might be something to check out. I mean, YouTube. I mean, we all saw this coming a mile away. Though. We
Yep.
saw YouTube being incorporated after those two kids sold it. So those two kids sold it, dude. They fucked us. Like they started it. They made this amazing platform. They updated it, and then it just went downhill. Like as soon as they sold it, we were fucked. So I mean, and I'm not gonna censor myself on this podcast anytime soon. I know you won't. So I mean, I think that would be the next move for us. Honestly, is to check out Storyfire, see how it goes, because there's a lot of big creative boogies over there. McJuggernuggets made the jump. I think Pewds might be over there soon. Like, it's just a lot of people have gotten fed up with Google, and Google's been called out a lot lately. So I mean,
they just keep getting worse and worse. I mean, if the adpocalypses and all that shit wasn't enough,
dude, there was no. Here's the thing: there was like no such thing as an apocalypse. What it was is they were still getting paid, regardless of what they like to claim. They were still getting paid.
well, yeah, they would flag something as not advertiser friendly, but still run ads on it, except
and then run ads on stuff on worse shit that is corporately owned.
And yet the creators wouldn't see any cash.
Yeah. Not to mention, like I think I stated this in 2 podcasts ago, there were videos of mine being used on other sites, and when I went to go fight it, YouTube didn't give 2 shits. So, I mean...
Yep. Well, like I said, I can't wait for somebody. I was hoping BitChute, because they're peer-to-peer.
Dude, we were hoping VidMe there for a while.
Or VidMe.
VidMe was good. They just kind of fell. They just fell off.
That's why I was thinking.
Afford it.
That's the thing. That's why I was thinking BitChute. I mean, they're still going, but they haven't taken off, and that's the big thing, because BitChute has the peer-to-peer, which really helps with the biggest cost of doing something like YouTube, which is storage. Because it's just, man, I can't even remember how much storage the Google has for YouTube, but it is a ludicrous amount of storage space, and that shit costs a grip of money. So BitChute had the infrastructure to offset that cost, especially in the beginning, so they could hang on for enough time to get up and running and get enough people over there. But it's slow going, man. So
I agree.
But all right, unless anybody has anything else they want to chime in with.
No.
No?
I'm good, bro. I'm good. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, we had
It was a good podcast.
Long show tonight. Yeah, we're good.
Well, that hour change made the difference.
We gained an extra hour, right? Well, thanks everybody for watching. Special thanks to Jace, special guest tonight. If you want to shout out your channels and all that.
Oh yeah, I stream all over the place, but mainly Facebook. I love Facebook.
Cool. It's the Mocking Jace TV.
The Mocking Jace TV.
Be sure to check him out. And thanks everybody for watching. We'll see y'all next week. Peace.